I have thought about it. Like, here's a Google Maps image in the PKA.
Woody, I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it for you to run and get some.
I can also.
Do you see how close? It's
It's
0.1 miles from here.
Look, you just want to go in and you want to say, "Hey, I want a vape pen.
Yeah.
As the weakest thing you have because I've never smoked before. I do a podcast and everybody wants to see me get high. Just tell them, and you'll be in and out of there in 10 minutes.
Yeah, they'll give you a dose. It'll probably be like literally the pen's called a dose, and it'll be like, you know, like you won't be able to get too high.
A vape pen. That's what I asked for.
Yeah.
And ask for a hybrid or sativa leaning hybrid because we don't want you getting couch locked.
Yeah, basically tell them you don't want something that's going to put you to sleep.
Yeah.
You
want to get giggly and creative. There you go.
That would be so. Right. That's going to be so wonderful. What
He's doing it. He's
putting my shoes on.
This is.
I'll leave it a minute.
Yeah, just leave your camera on. That's fine.
Yeah.
So this is going to be wonderful. I'm so excited for when you get high.
Hybrid or sativa leaning hybrid. All right.
Yeah. Tell them you're going to be active. Tell them exactly what you're doing. You don't want to be sleepy. You know.
Yeah.
So it's going to and they'll recommend a sativa. I'm sure.
It really is the easiest thing in the world too.
He's back. I love that you rode the motorcycle to get the drugs. I forgot about that for a second.
Nice gloves.
Yeah, 0.1 mile.
0.1 mile.
Did you score?
What'd you get?
I did.
You got the goods. Wait, that looks like. Okay. Oh yeah, it's fine.
It's
so
an Orangina stevia. Let me see.
So
A fake sugar.
Orange vagina stevia.
Yeah. Single-use ceramic core CO2 oil vape system. It's a lift ticket, apparently. I get it. It gets you high. Okay.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't even have a button. You just pull and you're good to go. Although it might take a couple to heat up the coil. You might have to inhale a couple times.
Okay. He said 2 or 3 hits max.
Yeah, well, you'll be able to see. You'll be able to see what you can breathe out. Like it'll be apparent.
How big is a hit? Is it like from that 70s show where you just inhale as much as you can and hold it?
No, take it easy. Take it easy.
Don't do that.
Just like a normal.
We're here for like 3 more hours. You just take it nice and easy. I don't need you passing out on me.
Like a half breath, just like. But you don't even need to pull that hard. Yeah, you're gonna be.
I'm gonna laugh when Woody just fucking gets narcoleptic for the rest of the show. He just starts nodding off.
Let's light it up. That's good.
There you go. Yeah.
So there you go.
All right, now let's wait 3 minutes, 5 minutes, something like that. I really would.
And then the good news about a pen is that it's very controlled, and you can get as much as you need. And with weed, it's like alcohol. You could get higher later if you wanted to. This is not like people talk about like smoking weed is like, oh, I'm going to be high in 45 minutes. Like, I don't know. Like, you're going to know in about.
Does it hit this fast or am I just making it up?
You're high now.
No, it's that easy.
Yeah, it hits that fast. You're high.
Yeah, I think
All right.
That's nice.
Actually, we need to be careful who we get as a guest because we've had a lot of deaths.
We've had a lot of deaths. Unfortunately, we just had a new one just the other day. John McAfee.
Oh yeah, that's right. Crazy.
Yeah, and it's interesting because he had said that if he's like, I'm happy in prison, the food is good, the people are nice. If anything happens to me, they killed me, and then he dies. Like he hangs himself like a couple days later.
That's so wild. That's. What would he know? Like what? I know he's a big tech guy and he was like uber wealthy. Like,
know what I think it was?
What?
I think John McAfee really loves attention. Like I think he's a very smart attention whore, and he was like, they've got me. I'm not dying in prison. Maybe even he was sick. Maybe he had maybe he had cancer or something.
He was really old.
He was very old. He didn't look healthy. Like maybe he was just like, I'm going to kill myself, but they're going to talk about me for a long time.
How funny would it be though if it was John McAfee who actually had like a dead man switch and a bunch of shit? It wouldn't get covered if he even had any damaging stuff, but that would be funny that of all people, it's the absolute maniac who said that we were dumb for not doing, or we were pussies for not having tried heroin before.
Yeah,
Is that
I mean,
what he
look,
said?
I would try it. I just don't know where to get it, John.
Helen released the. Oh,
He was 76, I think.
76 in prison. You know, like maybe he killed himself. But my guess is he killed himself. The fact that he had like been so adamant that like if I die, they did it. Like I think I think he really loves the attention. I think it's what I would do.
18 months was a death
really
sentence for that dude.
Maybe it's
rich people live a ton of time now.
I mean,
he's a drug addict.
That's true.
I don't know that he's a drug addict, but I feel like, you know, like he definitely enjoys his drugs. Yeah, drug user and drug addict are different things, though, right? I think he's definitely enjoyed his drugs, but I mean, he was doing such weird stuff, though, right? It wasn't like he's like, yeah, so, you know, I shoot up some heroin every day. I have to. It was just like, yeah, I like to put little droplets of heroin in my eardrum. I can hear the world's
and he was clearly bloviating a lot of that because he was pretending like, hey, Sasha, or whoever the woman was, like, pour the other half of that bottle of gin into this glass and bring it to me. And it's like, dude, you did not just at 76 drink a whole bottle of gin in 30. Like, there's no way. Come on. Like,
he was talking about weird drugs we had never heard of, that you needed like an atomic scale to get the right amount or you die. Do you remember that?
Yeah, and that's like the kind of thing I don't want to fuck with.
It's the kind of thing I do want to fuck with.
It makes me think money just doesn't solve everything, you know? It's things like that. It's like that's like really it, because you could like be like, I got to get this drug that's on the atomic level of something. And it's like, man, you could just buy a PS5 from a scalper, even, you know, like you could just, you know, but like that's not it. There's obviously more there. There's more. There's things that money just doesn't sort out. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just found this tweet screenshot from John McAfee. He said, my Muslim cellmate explained that if I die in the service of Allah, I will receive 56 virgins when I go to heaven. 56 virgins? What kind of God is that? I would trade 56 virgins for one Bangkok prostitute any day of the week. You know, R.I.P. F's salutes for John McAfee. Oh, that's so funny.
I put the ring on the right left hand this time, something like that. It's just a beautiful love song about marriage, and it just reminded me of you and how happy you're going to be. And I got a tear in my eye thinking about how my friend has finally found his soulmate and how they're going to be happy together. And it meant a lot to me.
Well, God, it's hard to believe.
Have you quoted Borat at all yet?
But I did get married, if we want to talk about that.
Have you quoted Borat? Have you quoted Borat at all yet?
No, let's talk about Borat.
No, I mean like seriously, before you were like my wife. And I was like, no,
my wife.
Yeah.
No, I haven't done that yet. She has never
do it all the time. She'll love it.
All of St. Louis.
I think the listeners are dying to hear about Taylor's wedding. Yeah. I'm dying to hear. Tell us, what do you want to say?
Basically, everything went super well. The wedding itself, for the actual ceremony, we tried to like take all the things we didn't like about other people's weddings, which was namely like having to go. And combine
them into yours.
And combine them. Well, like my dad's side of the family is Catholic, and if you've ever gone to a Catholic wedding, it takes fucking forever. There's so many readings. There's so many. You're kneeling, you're standing, you're kneeling, you're standing. And we were doing it outside in June, and it's more humid in St. Louis than people might guess. And so we were like, all right, it's got to. She like gave me a couple of the ceremonies to read through. And they all had like the amount of time each one takes. It was like 15 minutes, 14 minutes, 14 minutes, 13 minutes. 12 minutes. I grabbed the 12-minute one. It was like that because I was dreading getting all doused in sweat. And so for the ceremony itself, we didn't invite anybody at all other than immediate family. Like no cousins, like cousins would ask. And it's like, no, we're not opening the floodgates. It's just immediate family. So like literally my brothers, my dad, my dad's wife, and then my grandparents. And my grandpa on my dad's side's dead, but my grandma isn't. So she was there. And then my wife's immediate family. Knocked it out in like 12 minutes. And even before, like when we proposed, like later that night, or when I proposed later that night, we both got drunk and we just were talking around like, who do we want to officiate our ceremony? And I have this very funny friend of mine who's one of my best friends. And I was like, that'd be a lark if we just had him do it and had him become a minister. And so like I just drunk texted him that night and was like, want to officiate our wedding? And he was like, hell yeah, dude. And so we just had him do it. he became a minister and everything. And my wife, she wanted a little bit of religious stuff in there, and I'm like, I like that, throw God in there, makes it seem more serious. Like read something from Corinthians, but like as it was going, 1 Corinthians and the such, and love your wife as the Lord loves the church and such, a boilerplate. And like as it's going, it's such a small group of people. There's no reason to have a microphone at all, and we're outdoors. And this fucking horrible DJ was like in the back, like trying to get a mic to work for my buddy who was doing the officiating. And even in the beginning, like I was like, hey, Matt, can you just talk loud enough? And he's like, yeah, this is easy as shit. And then as he was saying that, the mic turned on. I'm like, all right, we'll give it a go, I guess. So this idiot who just spent all this time setting it up. We get to like right before, first of all, by the time like my brothers and her siblings, everybody's sitting down, I'm already dripping sweat. I'm so fucked. It's 94 degrees outside. 94 degrees. I'm a sweater.
How much prosciutto had you had for breakfast?
I don't see why that's either here nor there. But a decent amount. There was definitely lunch meat to be had. And so like as we're about to do the vows and stuff, that like middle of like Wednesday afternoon kind of gathering in high school where like the mic goes like that happens right before, and then like he's like fixing it, and like me and the officiant, like my buddy, are just like, just turn it off, just turn it off, and the guy just turned it off, and then we did the rest normally. Went off really well. I thought the sweating was going to occur during the ceremony. It was actually the hour and a half of photos outside afterward. But I had a high IQ maneuver that morning. On the morning of my wedding, I went to Kohl's and bought 2 more shirts, backup shirts for when I sweated through. I only needed 1, surprisingly, but we finished that, and we used the same venue for our ceremony as we did for the reception. So like that was our thing, is like just immediate family at the ceremony, and then have our friends and everything come for the reception. That was a ton of fun. The only thing I was like adamant about was like, I don't want a bunch of pomp and circumstance. I don't want speeches really. We'll do the first dance stuff because that's nice and quick. And I enjoyed that. But I don't want speeches. I don't want toasts. I just want like people to get their food and then sit down and eat. And then we do our little first dance and everybody socializes, plays games outside, talks, catches up. And it ended up being exactly that. It was fucking perfect. It was great. And the DJ was acting like a little weird throughout the night, like kind of jumpy and stuff. And I didn't see this. It was after I had gone outside to do like Woody knows, he's married. You end up doing like the rounds where it's like, I can't wait to like talk to my friends and hang out. It's like, nope, bitch, you're talking to every single person that's here. Yeah. And so you do that. And then I was talking to a buddy later in the evening, and he was like, hey, did you noticed, did you notice anything about your DJ? And I'm like, yeah, he like disappeared a few times. He's like, yeah, I walked in the bathroom and he was standing next to the counter, and he just, as soon as he heard me open it, he went, hey, what's up? And apparently he kept dipping off into the fucking bathroom and doing coke. And that's not the vibe. That's not the vibe of the wedding. that's not the environment. Yes, it was. That's not the environment we're trying. Well, he's trying to make that the vibe, but that's not the environment we're trying to cultivate. It was him doing fucking cocaine in the bathroom. And he was all right, I suppose.
I mean, Kyle always goes on rants on me about PKA. The vast majority of the problems I deal with today are Kyle's fault. So it is what it is.
Early this morning, somebody messaged me a clip of Wings. He was saying that I am responsible for all of his life's problems.
I thought I was.
No, it's changed his mind. It's me.
I thought that I owed him hundreds of thousands of dollars or something.
You know, I don't like misquote.
Last count, yeah.
Yeah. I don't like misquoting him, but he said something like that every now and then I have a little rant about him, and like that, like fuels the flames, and I'm responsible for like all of his problems or whatever. So
I would say you're responsible for no more than half.
No more than half.
Yeah. Like, well, I mean, maybe 75%.
Woody said the meanest shit that's ever been said about him.
That wasn't me. That was a dude in a blue shirt.
That was so funny. I loved that. Yeah.
And like to be fair, like it's just a response. It's like Woody hits back. We know Woody hits back. That's why you don't hit Woody. Like, not even as a joke. Like you don't tap Woody on the shoulder hard. Like Woody just
you don't tap.
Well, you've attacked me, sir.
You will engage in fisticuffs on the morrow.
I'm allowed to win.
Yeah, I will not be bullied. I am a god.
Yeah.
You started to go for an accent there. You bailed out. I will not be bullied by your nonsense.
Indian Loki.
This is my British accent as Woody.
I would like.
I am an English person.
That'd be a completely different variant. I would be down with that, like the really stereotypical Indian Loki. I wish they'd done that. But yeah, I hope you don't think that's true, Wings. You know, I hope you can realize that you bring all this on yourself.
That's funny.
I like the idea that, like, if I were Wings, I would want to feel like I brought it all on myself, because that's more solvable, right? If all these problems are from somewhere outside my control, that sucks. But as soon as I realize that, like, ooh, if I'm the problem, I can be the solution. I can fucking wrap this thing up. We can turn this ship around. That's where you'd rather be.
Yeah, I think
For
so.
sure.
I don't know. But yeah, like anytime we've like given him a hard time, it's always been like hitting back. You know, he's the one who's always like being mean to people.
For a while, I remember seeing clips that people would send me on Twitter, and it would be like, you guys or one of you, usually Kyle, went in on him making jokes during the show, and it'd be like a clip where it'd be like, and the PKA guys are making fun of me again, and fucking Merc Durka stole my spot on the show. And it's like, I didn't even fucking say anything. How many times have we spoken? Like
My hotel doesn't come with blankets this time.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I swear to God. Here,
Did it have a door?
look at this shitty bed. Okay. Now hold on. I'll try to get this out of the way. One moment.
That's such an important part of a hotel is the blanket, because it's just a sleeping quarters.
This is it. This sheet. That's all you get.
Oh, that's trash.
That can't be accurate.
He needs to call down to the front desk, get that rectified.
Yeah, they've got a blanket downstairs.
Yeah, Woody, you got to call the front desk, get that rectified. Tell them this is unacceptable, and I will bring a gun to the front lobby.
Hi, I'm in 319. Is there a blanket?
We do not have blankets, sir.
Uh-huh. I found him. Thank you.
You literally had to like look, and there they were. There they are.
That's the worst. When you're like, is there a blanket here? Yeah, there's two up on the top of the closet. I genuinely would have like grabbed those quickly, like ran down to the ice machine, put them on top of that, and then been like, "Well, they're not here." And clearly, I'm not the.
I didn't say it shitty, did I?
You were very polite. You're like, "Are there blankets?" Like, yeah, you were very polite. But I'm just saying that I would be embarrassed if I was like, "Oh no." But you haven't slept there before.
I did last night. I slept under that fucking sheet.
Yeah.
Blanketless.
I was so cold last night. I wore my road suit.
The temperature was okay, but I wanted more on me. Like at home, I have a weighted blanket. It's like 30 pounds or 40 pounds or something. And
yeah,
here I just have a sheet. It's like, what if the predators come after me? I'm going on a motorcycle trip around the country. So
the fuck out of here, really?
Yeah. So I started in Raleigh. That's where I live. And then I took the southern states like Mississippi, Arkansas, Colorado, all dirt roads up around Boise. Now I'm in Wyoming, sort of on the way home.
Oh, and you're like on this trip right now.
Yeah.
I'm in a hotel room.
Sick. Oh yeah. What are you riding?
So I started off the trip with the BMW G650 GS. It's their smaller adventure bike.
Yeah.
And then in Boise, my friend got a new motorcycle. He was on an XR650L, a Honda. It's almost like a big dirt bike for those that don't know their motorcycles. And I never looked at that bike and thought, oh, that thing's nice. Not once. Not once. And it was practically a two-stroke by the time we got to Boise. It drank so much oil, and he was getting a new motorcycle. And when in Rome, So now I'm on a KTM 890 Adventure R.
Oh, wow.
And,
yeah. You bought a new motorcycle.
Yes. Yeah. I think this might be the first year it's out. And,
did you trade in? Did you just straight trade your other bike at the dealer?
Yeah. I mean, I'm in Boise. I don't have I can't just ride two bikes home or anything.
No, I know. But maybe you shipped it home or something like that. I don't know.
I hear you. But no, I traded it in. So
Cool.
Yeah. So today was like a non-travel day. Oh, that's my new bike. Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Motorcycling is such a funny thing. It's like it's, it's the idea that like if you were in a car and you left your house to go on a road trip in one car and came back in another car, that would be extraordinarily strange. But on a motorcycle, it's not actually the first time I've heard that story.
Right?
Those kind
People
of things
do
when
it.
someone buys a new motorcycle mid-trip.
I'm loving it. We were in the
actually heard that
O'Reilly
happening.
parking lot yesterday doing the 600-mile service.
Oh my
It's
God.
been cool. Today it was a non-travel day. I had to
And
wait for
you're riding
shipment.
you're riding off-road?
Well, yeah, up through Lake Boise we were, and on the way back it's been more on-road. Now, as a non-travel day, I was free to do whatever I want today, so I did like 40 miles just out back. Here's what happened: the Harley
You rode your
dealership-
motorcycle on your non-motorcycling day?
I like it. Yeah. So I use this Harley dealership as a place to drop ship because you hardly know where you're going to be like a week out. And I needed some rain gear. So they had a Pan America there that you could demo. That's their new adventure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
I had to go
I'm-
on it. Yeah.
Oh, all right. So we'll circle back.
Go
to
ahead.
that.
You
But
first.
I was
yeah.
like, dude, so you just let people ride this? And they're like, yeah. And they think I'm like the super experienced rider because I'm on this trip. And so I took it out. I took it like 9 miles up the road, and then there was a off-road thing. Like I went to the top of this mountain, and I'm in Wyoming. You can see forever. It's just high desert. All the plants are like 18 inches tall. And
That's how they sell bikes. If it was a fucking day later, you might have been riding a Harley right now instead of riding a KTM.
You're a smart man. Yeah. The Harley, it
That's
could have been that
exactly how
one.
they
It was
sell bikes.
I liked it. I liked it a lot. I think Harley has a winner on their hands. When I saw pictures of it on the internet, it didn't super appeal to me. But when I sat on it and rode it and took it off road and like it
How much?
Starts at
I think it's in the
17, you
high
can get it up to
teens.
22 or
Yeah,
23.
I'm not looking to jump that deep.
It's
in.
also a leader bike. It's not the first bike you'd want to get.
It's a
Yeah.
big, no, I wouldn't have it as a first motorcycle, but I had it for 3 weeks and I put
Ooh.
about 1,000 miles on it and it was fucking bitching. I mean, I was really impressed. If you took the stickers and the badges and stuff off of it and it didn't say Harley on it, you just brought it somewhere. It could be an Aprilia. It could be a Moto Guzzi. I mean, it could be not quite a Ducati, but it could be any medium-high level KTM, any medium-high level adventure touring motorcycle.
That is
It has,
very nice.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
that's
it has
the
a
one
very
I
advanced engine.
let me talk for a second. So the one I drove,
Go ahead.
no, it's cool. I'm just excited. So it has suspension. When you're parked, it's 2 inches shorter. And when you're going less than 5 miles an hour, it's 2 inches shorter, which is nice. Like it's cool to have your feet a little closer to the ground, a little lower center of gravity when you're getting on and off the bike or when you're at the gas station. But then when you're riding, and it gets taller. And that's a really neat thing. It has adjustable. I've never heard of a bike that had that. It has all the latest gadgets with like navigation built into it and phone integration and stuff like that, like a car would. People think Harley is this laggard in technology, but I think they're off target there. What it is Harley customers are laggards in technology.
I brought this up was to talk about the fact that Bill Cosby is out, as he should be, because they made a deal with him and they made a bad deal. Obviously, the rapist should still be in fucking prison, but they made a deal with the rapist and they had to uphold their deal. And what's right is right. Fair is fair. He's going on a goddamn comedy tour, and I'm getting tickets as soon as I fucking can.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is, and yes, I am.
Bill Cosby comedy too.
Think his humor will be any darker now?
You know, when you just finished raping somebody, and then I don't know what I'll do.
You got a hankering for some pudding pops.
It's been a while since anybody's seen me. I was not too good of a boy, if you know what I'm saying.
No, he's going on a tour. His agent said there's a lot of demand for Bill and his brand of comedy out there, and he's taking his act on the road. And we've had lots of positive feedback from club owners and comedy circuits. They want Bill, and the people want Bill, and we're going to give them what they want. I'm paraphrasing.
Oh, it'll be totally sold out. Like Bill Cosby is enormously famous.
I want to go. I want to go.
Well, I now want to know, like, is he going to change? Is he going to just ignore it? Is it going to be the fucking elephant in the room the entire time? Or is it going to be like, that's going to be the basis of the act? I'm really, because it doesn't square at all with this type of humor, right? So
Yeah.
Can we talk about the McAfee suicide note? Hotload suggested it, and I'm finding it interesting. It hasn't been officially transcribed, and I find it really difficult to read, but I will do my best. I'm waiting for him to show it.
Yeah, I haven't heard about a suicide note at all from him.
So they found this suicide note in his pocket, and his wife says it's not real. But yeah, this is the note. You can see why it's so hard to read. It seems to say something close to, I am a phantom parasite. In the present moment, I used it to attain my own ends instead of fully living it. I want to control my future, which does not exist. Throughout knowledge, which mere ashes of memory. I've read it a couple times. That's the best I can do.
Yeah, that's about as what I was guessing. So was she saying like that's not his handwriting?
She says it looks like someone who was trying to imitate his handwriting, and that her last conversation with him included, I'll call you tonight. And she thinks that this suicide note is part of the cover-up, even though it does resemble his handwriting. If I'm following that right.
Just so you guys know,
Bizarre
my suicide
message.
note, you'll be able to tell the writing will be very feminine, lots of curses, and I'll put the same clue at the end that Houdini left for his wife when he died.
So we have at least 2 guests who've killed themselves so far.
At least 2. I was thinking about that
Allegedly
today.
with John McAfee. We don't
I was thinking about that
know.
today.
There's no way to know. At least 2 that are dead.
Yeah. I was thinking about it today when because I spoke to that guy who like owned the whole chain of motorcycle stores, and at one point he was like, so what, on some kind of a show you said something about this, and I in my head I was like, yeah, we do this. If he'd asked me what it was about, I was like, we have guests on, like, John McAfee before he killed himself, and Nate from 60 Days In before he killed himself, and Boogie before he like had that aggravated assault charge with a handgun, and like go down the line of like all of our guests and the awful things they've done after the show, and Chris Hansen before he got into all that legal trouble.
Yeah.
Did you watch the Conor McGregor fight? I didn't watch it live.
I did
saw
watch
the
it
clip
live.
of it.
Yeah, I watched it live, and I've seen like all the videos around it, the slow-mos. I've seen more than one doctor break it down, and I'm as informed as I know how to be. So it appears that if people didn't watch the fight, here's what happened. Dustin Poirier was fighting Conor McGregor. Conor won, 5 years ago. Dustin won like 6 months ago, and this was going to be the rubber match, the one that decides who's the better fighter. I thought Conor looked pretty good on the feet for a few seconds, but by and large, Dustin beat the hell out of this guy. The first round did finish, and 2 judges scored it 10-8 for Dustin, and the other one had it 10-9. A 10-8 round isn't super common. Maybe 1 in every 20 rounds will be so lopsided that they grant it a 10-8, and this was one of those. Dustin got the top. He was raining elbows down on him, etc. At one point, Conor was like grabbing Dustin's, if I remember the fight correctly, he's grabbing Dustin's glove by the cuff, which is cheating. And he was using that to get up kicks on him. And Dustin was like, fuck it, I'm out of here. And he let Conor stand up. And then Conor was, he kicked him one time on the thigh and maybe on the elbow. And then he took a step back and his leg broke just above the ankle. It's a tib fib, if you guys know that at all. It means both bones in the leg broke. Mm-hmm. And visually, it looks like he got a second ankle. It's something people aren't used to seeing. It looks terrible. And there you have it. So Dustin felt like he damaged it by checking it early in the fight. And you can see it. He checks it, and then he points to it like, I got you. That was worse for you than it was for you. Kicked me and you lost some. So Dustin felt like that was when it happened. Some doctors and fight experts, Kyle, you muted, thought it was when he hit his elbow. But Conor says that they had some stress fractures going into the fight. They had a doctor look at it, and I heard his coach talk about it. His coach was like, you'd think looking at x-rays is a really obvious science that like someone could look at an x-ray and know what's up. But with stress fractures, it's closer to listening to an engine, and where like maybe a really trained ear hears something, but you can't be 100% sure. And So they cleared him to fight, but Conor had a vibe that his leg wasn't 100% going into the fight. And Conor is kind of using this to say that he didn't really lose.
Yeah. When Conor's down, he's going, "Doctor, stoppage! Doctor, stoppage!" Like he's screaming it. Like this doesn't mean anything. This doesn't mean anything. The doctor waved it off. If the doctor said go, I'd fucking limp back in there. Like he's letting him know, like, this doesn't fucking count.
How do we feel about Bezos going to space? I'm a little mixed.
I'm glad he went. First of all, he barely went. They made it sound, when I heard he was going to space, like I was watching Landmark stream when it happened. He's like, they're like, "Oh, he's going to space right now? Oh wait, he's back. Well, how long was he up there?" And they're like, 37 seconds. They're like, "Well, that's nonsense.
How high did he go?
That's stupid.
He went high enough that it was like technically space.
That
Like-
Red
like-
Bull
It's
space
suborbital, isn't it? Yeah.
If you
that
look
Red Bull
up Jeff
base
Bezos'
dude.
altitude, it says he's 5'7".
Oh,
No wonder it was easy to get him into space. He's a fucking midget. I reckon I can kick the cunt into space.
they put him in the overhead bin.
So he
Yeah,
went
yeah.
to 250,000 feet, which is, how many miles is that? 100 miles roughly? That's a lot. I've been to 2 on a paramotor. So about the same.
Yeah, that's true. You know, and he wasn't steering it, so you're more qualified.
I like where this is headed.
Yeah.
This is good.
If I'm Bezos, I'm like, no, put me behind the controls. Like, sir, I am ex-Air Force. I've been training in the module for the last 3 years for you. Slide down. All right, what do I do? I'm getting behind the controls. I want that picture of me piloting us into space.
Does it have a wheel? Do you think?
It's probably got a
Power steering went out.
what if they did that thing that they do for like little kids? They give them like the fake little steering wheel, like on their and he's over there like he's like putting it in gear.
It's bright yellow and green. It says Fisher Price.
Yeah, he's honking the horn and it's making like cow noises, like.
Zach, I can't follow all these one-word things. Are you saying Red Bull went higher, or
Yeah,
it says
yeah.
Red Bull?
Do you
did
remember,
more.
Woody? The highest jump. The guy, Red Bull did the highest ever like free fall to a parachute, and the guy was in space when he jumped. Like you could see the curvature of the Earth, and so he's saying that guy, the Red Bull jumping.
No,
guy,
he said the
in
opposite.
space.
He clarified. He was wrong. Okay.
Oh,
I was confused.
Well, it's
how high did the what's his fucking name? The Virgin bloke. How high did he go?
Richard Branson. I don't know.
Yeah. Did he go to 250,001 feet?
Oh, I seriously doubt it, because his thing is like a space plane. Like it looks funky. Elon Musk is the winner of this thing by like a long
280,000 feet for Branson.
Yeah.
Of course, Elon Musk's wins this head to head for sure.
He hasn't.
But Musk hasn't been. He hasn't been into space.
Musk hasn't
himself.
left Earth at all.
But that's by choice.
Yeah,
he could
go if he wanted to.
If he was brave enough.
Is he 5'7"?
Bezos and
Or-
Branson have
or
the
dumb enough.
cojones. Well,
Yeah.
they're both alive, so it's brave.
I've been
I'd
getting
love to
some
hear
pre-rolls
his answer
from-
on that. Like why haven't you gone to space, Elon? Like I bet he has a great answer. I
I haven't
Really?
heard
Because
much
he's
about
such an
him in
accomplished
years.
speaker and he makes his point so eloquently.
Yeah, it'll be like,
That is
I came
not- that
from
is not-
space. I
that
don't
is
need to
not.
go back.
You're right.
Yeah, I saw some meme about Zuckerberg like laughing when he hears that the other billionaires are going to space when he came from space. And he's
Yeah.
I'm on Olympics as well right now, and this lady at the top stretching, she knows what she's doing.
yeah,
Oh.
Italia.
she's fucking the shit out of that.
Is it right
floor.
now or is it all time?
It's right
that I should be
now,
looking
and
at?
it's the same Italian woman.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have to do that?
Oh my! Now it's a video and she's bouncing. She has to know.
She absolutely does.
Wow, and she looked behind. She's really pretty.
Does she wonder why the cameraman's there instead of in front, like filming?
Oh, there's
her
a part
face?
2 stretching. Are you seeing this?
Yes, that's even funnier.
The part
It's
2 is
doggy
great.
style.
Yeah, the part 2 you can actually see her vagina from behind. It's
Yeah,
great.
you
Just
can straight
literally-
up see like the outline of her labia. Like it's
Dude, presenting like a dog.
like a baboon.
Like a baboon. Those Italians. Oh, what's this other one? Sunni Lee. I'm not even gonna look at this one because we didn't win, or maybe we did.
Stuff.
How many golds do we have so far? Are we winning the Olympics? If not, then I choose. I don't care. Olympic current winner. Is that how you do it? Winner.
Maybe most medals.
Most medals.
There's two ways to measure it: most golds and most medals. And I don't know what's best. They should do a point system. A 3-2-1. Gold's worth 3, silver's 2, bronze is 1. Add them up. Who got the win?
That makes sense. I like that. Because like just doing gold seems also like a space race kind of, bullshit thing where it's like, sure, China got 700 silvers, but we got the gold win. It's like, maybe. Oh, we're winning. All right.
In swimming, the way we did points was 5-3-1. So if you got first place and I got second and third, you still won. It was all about first. But 4-3, 5-3-1. We get 4, you get 5. It's pretty close.
If we do your 3-2-1 count, or actually they only have it by total medals or just gold. Just gold, we're 1 behind China right now.
Okay.
But total medals, we're 8 ahead of China.
And then the 3-2-1 system is complex to figure out. Yeah. I bet you could do it. Do it.
Well, it's a lot to add up because it's like 40 medals, 38 medals. It'd be a good bit. Japan number
6
4.
Multiplication problems.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Kyle's good for mental math usually.
So US, China, Russia. I mean, isn't that always the top 3 every single time?
Why Russia? Their population isn't that large.
They focus on it.
They have a culture of victory.
So does Australia.
I don't think Russia has a lot of government-funded programming.
That's a good
really
point.
Focus on it.
Australia's number 5. They're behind, us, China, Russia, and Japan. Good for Japan getting their head in the game this year.
Well, Italy. It's their series. So a lot of times the host can introduce sports and they pick things they can do well in. Like, America's hosting it. Well, funny thing. This Summer Olympics is having snowboarding. I made that example up. Yeah. But yeah, they're like skateboarding and surfing get introduced and shit like that where the Americans can do well.
We've had someone reveal their power level this past week. And
Kyle's coming out of the closet, you might say.
It has been great. I love it.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the kind words. I don't make God of Thunder or anything, but yeah, definitely upped the anime power level a little bit, as Chocolate Thunder put it earlier. So yeah, it's been a long, arduous process, and I know you two have been wanting to talk about it forever. So
forever. This is, for people who don't know, this has been a secret with us for so long. Where like there were times where like on my Twitch stream people would be like, haha, fucking pile, piece of shit, just big pile of blubber and pork, and I just have to sit there and be like, he sure is fat, isn't he? Meanwhile, he had just sent me a picture like, starting to see abs, bro. Like
taking it on the chin for 6 months now for sending shirtless pictures to our WhatsApp chat. Meanwhile, it is a back and forth conversation, and I'm telling nobody. They're all like, what a fucking weirdo old man sending pictures to guys who clearly don't want it. It's like, you assholes have no idea.
Oh, I'm sending dick root all day, every day. Every time I get back from the gym and get out of the shower, I'm just like, check out the dick root, boys. It's vascular.
That's what vascular.
It is. It was.
It's like people, like they would be like, so Kyle and Woody, they're sending like shirtless pictures, and nobody knew Kyle was working out. And so I was like, do people really think like Kyle's just like getting fatter, boy? Like what would be his purpose in sending us photos if he wasn't working?
To motivate Woody.
Yeah.
I am looking pretty
good. Look what could happen.
Look what could happen.
Like, we're also excited about this, clearly. Derek, thank you so much for coming on. You facilitated this entire transformation.
I can't praise Derek enough. He's definitely been like I guess coach, mentor throughout this whole thing. He's really kept me going throughout it. And Derek's a hard laugh. You know what I mean? When somebody's a hard laugh, you really got to come up with a good joke to get a laugh out of them.
Mm-hmm.
If you send Derek a picture and you're like, what do you think, man? He was like, all right, we're doing okay. I'm just like, fuck, I really thought I'd get something that time. But you've really got to like get in the gym and make something happen for Derek's like, all right, I see what you're doing now. So like when you get that out of Derek, it feels really good.
No, some of your photos, I thought I was like, dude, your head looks photoshopped onto the spot.
Is Kyle saying that? I'm like, yeah, I watched him do a natty or not on Superman in the film, and he's like, he's just fat. I don't know what. Look at this piece of shit. Why would they cast him? I'm paraphrasing.
I was watching the video you did on Kyle on your channel this afternoon, and like you would bring the picture up, and you brought one up where I'm like, man, he's starting to look jacked there, looking big. And your comment was like, now he looks okay. Now this is nothing that you would notice in public, and it's like, no, this is nothing that you would notice in public because you have no periphery over the delts. That's how you take Derek down from behind.
The mind warped perception in the fitness industry is next level. Like you see a guy who's easily a top 0.01% physique, and you're comparing it to some genetic like hyper elite outlier. Your brain's just so fried that you're like, oh, visible abs. I see that every day on Instagram or whatever. And then you don't realize that how many guys in your gym even have any size on their frame at all, plus abs simultaneously, like zero.
Yeah, it's almost zero. Like the guys that I work out with, because I go to the same like time slot every night. Most of them are like older than me, but they're all like really big guys. Like they all lift heavy. But none of them are like lean. Like nobody is like dick skin lean at all in there. Like nobody has abs. There's a different group of guys that are like high school athletes or college athletes or something. You could tell they're coming in and kind of horsing around, like getting like their second workout of the day in. And those guys have abs, but those guys aren't that big. And so there's just not that many guys who are both big and lean. It's super rare.
Yeah, the transformation was wild, dude. Like, as much as you guys are saying I wasn't impressed, like I thought I did a pretty good job of showing like my enthusiasm about the whole process. And I thought it was
absolutely, yeah.
I thought it was fucking incredible, dude. So I was very happy with the outcome, and like more than anything, I was glad you got to see like what you're capable of, because I imagine you had no conception at the start of this that you could you exceeded Rob McElhenney body fat percentage easily.
Yeah.
You make Mac look like a bitch.
That was the goal. Like that was the whole goal. Like from the beginning was to do the fat Mac, and I would guesstimate his body fat percentage like at his leanest when he's like on TV in that episode to be like 10, something like that. And we hit 8.4 at the end. We hit 8.4, and I was super stoked. I was super stoked to hit 8.4 because I had no idea. I think I had skipped a DEXA scan. I had been getting them monthly, but like the previous DEXA scan, I think I was like low, like 12%, something like that, 13%, like very visible abs. Like my forearms were just like road maps, but I didn't think I was in single digits. And then like when we got in there on May 4th or whatever it was to the DEXA, she was like, what do you think you are? I'm like, maybe 10%. She's like, oh no, honey, you're about 3 points away from the bodybuilders that come in here, like show ready. And because they'll get down to like 5.5% or something like that. Mm-hmm. And 8.4%.
What is that in the back right that I'm looking at right now? Because exactly I've just been thinking about this for a little while now, and it's starting to get to me.
It's supposed to.
Can you explain what I'm looking at?
So I was ordering some butt plugs and
okay. And makes sense.
Yeah, I was ordering some butt plugs and I already had the medium, and I was like, I think my lady friend can step up to a large, and so I'll get the large. Okay. Yeah, lady friend. and so I was like, the medium is like tiny, like as far as butt plugs go, like I don't know, like that big or something, like manageable. And I was like, the large is probably like, we've all bought a small, medium, and a large from like McDonald's or whatever. That's the increment.
It's a little bigger than the medium.
But they sent me this colossal motherfucker, and now it's just I I don't know. I don't know who
It's
this
a conversation
is for.
piece now.
It's a conversation piece now. I literally put it there so you'd see it and you'd ask. I don't know. It looks like a Goomba from Mario Brothers or a garden gnome. I haven't decided
Yeah,
which.
that shit is horrifying. It's from the Guantanamo Bay collection.
I'm gonna put a smiley face on it. And if I ever meet a young lady that can handle this, I'm gonna marry that bitch right away because she's put her time in. She deserves to retire.
This seems dangerous.
Right,
It does seem dangerous.
and that's what everyone's looking for in a woman is that they can handle the extra large butt plug. That's
yeah.
It shows
absolutely.
character.
It shows character. That's the kind of lady you can trust with, your passwords and your banking information. The kind who can handle the big boy 3000.
Imagine how many drugs she could help you smuggle into a foreign nation.
Kind of what I was thinking. Like, this bitch can smuggle some stuff. Like. Forget drugs. Like you could put a whole fucking cell phone in that. All sorts of electronics. You can put all sorts of things in there. You can go to an electronics store, come out with a laptops if you can take that. Good God. But yeah, now it's just a conversation piece because I don't know any human beings who can handle something like that. Some of my friends in Discord who are gay told me that like not only do they know people who can handle it, but it's not that uncommon to be able to handle a toy of that girth.
Switch saw that and he acted as though it wasn't that outrageous.
Yeah, and then he showed me he sent me a picture of one of his friends' toy collections, and I've got a lot of toys. Like I got like $5,000 or $6,000 worth of stuff, but he had, I don't know, maybe a $15,000 collection because he had like all those Bad Dragon toys that are like custom made sex toys. They look like octopus tentacles and horse cocks and all sorts of nonsense.
Yeah.
Like it's like, oh yeah, this is a dragon dick, and it's like you probably never put any thought into what a dragon.
Unfalsifiable.
You never thought about. Hey, Tolkien never told us what dragon dicks look like. So
Major details he added. He left that out.
He left it out of the Silmarillion.
Does it look authentic though? Is it an authentic one?
It's got scales. Yeah.
Okay.
The thing with Wings where they made him seem to be a journalist who had passed away in Afghanistan, right?
Yes.
Someone linked me to a bunch of these today. These are apparently the Yelp reviews from the Conway Wendy's. Would you like to hear a few?
Jesus Christ.
Sure.
Yes.
Excellent service. However, I and my family couldn't help but notice the 450-pound man screaming and flailing his arms around, going on and on about how a Wendy's isn't supposed to run out of chili and how his name was not Richard. We decided to seek safety in the restroom, but the big meaty mongrel barreled into the bathroom with us and started screaming at the top of his lungs about how this one's coming out sideways. All in all, a wonderful dining experience with a nice touch of added danger and risk from the Richard, who always seems to be hanging around. Big ups.
Big ups indeed.
How many stars?
That's 4 stars.
Oh,
Okay.
Here's a 5-star review. They were out of chili and the Pepsi machine was down. However, otherwise, I had a great experience. Had me a 4 for 4 and sat down with a nice man that the locals there call the Conway Con Man. He drove a 2019 Ford Raptor and pulled his wife around. Okay. All right. We
don't need to be mean.
I didn't know they got mean. I'm trying to have a good time in here. Trying to leave.
Give me the Cole's notes of what happened to Wings. Like, did he go crazy or something?
No, he just has a rabid fan base, and he's known for eating Wendy's chili and drinking Pepsi.
Is he still doing the?
He lost his Twitch streaming partnership. Has anything changed?
No,
is he on YouTube?
He's streaming on YouTube now.
Okay.
Oh, geez.
They never have any chili. They never have any Pepsi. There is always a V6 Mustang double parked poorly, I might add. I see this man in there named Richard and his. They were yelling at the staff and calling them trolls over a DoorDash order. I believe the couple ate it honestly.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
I was enjoying a meal with my family when a large, grotesque man stumbled into the store. He had numerous stains on his shirt, which advertised Richard's vacuum parts. With all of this given, the man attempted to sell vacuum parts for banquet meals and chili. Eventually, when his unprofessional way of doing business didn't succeed, he stormed out of the store proclaiming, "See y'all in Ban World." Otherwise, the service was good. 4 stars.
What?
There's a lot of these.
Jesus.
Like he has single-handedly made it so that the Wendy's in Conway, South Carolina, has probably the highest ratings of any Wendy's on the planet.
I noticed there are a lot of 4 stars that are handing out 5s. Having said that, for Wendy's, that's good.
No, they're enjoying their experience there. I think he lightens the mood for everyone.
Wings is just way more famous than like his numbers let on.
I mean, I've introduced so many people to him alone. Like every time I have like a friend or somebody over, I'm like, "Do you know about Wings of Redemption?" And they're like, "What the fuck is that?" And I'm like, "Oh, buckle up. We're gonna be at this for a while." Oh, that sounds like a terrible idea. Are you thinking about bare knuckle boxing?
No, not me.
That's the Fight Club still a thing?
Kyle, would you tell the story?
Oh my God. So I guess but since I did the like physical transformation thing, and since I've been streaming on Twitch, it got back to like the owner of Bare Knuckle Boxing Championship, whatever that organization is that Paige Van Zandt and all those people fight in. And they basically offered me this deal where they would make a docu-series about me becoming a bare knuckle boxer, and I would train with professionals that they provided for like some period of time. I don't know how long. If we don't have a time machine to go back when I'm 25 and then spend 5 years or 18 or so or 12 when you learn a skill like bare knuckle boxing, maybe. But basically, I would be the main event, I guess, at a major pay-per-view for bare knuckle boxing, fighting Diego the Nightmare Sanchez, former winner of the Ultimate Fighter, former contender at 170 fucking pounds in the goddamn UFC. And they're like, "It's a handsome payday," wink, wink. And I'm just like,
so they never said a number. They did
500,000 pay-per-views at $50 a piece, or 300,000 pay-per-views at $50 a piece on their last event, and put 12,000 people in the arena. So it would be a lot of money. I don't want to know how much money, Woody, because it might be a tempting amount of money.
But you didn't attempt to calculate how much money it was?
No, I don't want to know, because I guarantee it's very high five figures.
Everybody else wants to know.
It's probably low. It's probably high five figures, probably low six figures. And there is a number in which I do it. And I'm so afraid that they're anywhere near that number, because I'm not doing it. I'm not fighting Diego the Nightmare Sanchez in bare knuckle boxing.
Come on,
a man who I had just so happened to have mocked relentlessly on this show for weeks before. This is that guy. This is the guy who had the ridiculous trainer, and I was saying that his trainer's probably molesting him in private and doing gay shit with him. I made fun of him for like drooling and like looking and like being washed up. And like made fun of this guy on this show relentlessly. This is the man. This is a famous professional fighter who's just too old now to cut it, and the world's biggest organization. That's it. It's not that the guy can't fight. Okay, he is a goddamn professional fighter and has been so for well over a decade. No.
Now, come on, Kyle.
Do they wrap the hands at all? Do they tape?
It's worse. It's worse than being bare knuckle. They wrap them in like hand wraps. So now they cut you. Now his hand won't break. It'll just break your face. So you end up cut to fucking ribbons if the fight goes any longer than mine. I would be like, right here.
It's grappling, feet, and everything. Yeah.
No, it's just boxing. I would be more tempted if it was grappling, right? Because like maybe he arm bars me and I tap, he chokes me, I tap.
Right.
Like no,
you could offer up your neck in some way.
I have to stand in there and trade with a killer.
That leads me to this. Chiz was saying that what you want to do is just train defense for I don't know how long the lead up is, 6 months or so, and that is your idea. And I'm not even. Does that just get you more longer beating?
Yeah, I would imagine.
First of all, if we were talking about boxing, that actually isn't a terrible idea, but we're not. We don't have big pillows on our hands.
Yeah, I know.
This is what I've got in front of me. This is how much I can block. He's gonna beat the fuck out of me. He's coming in from the side. He's uppercutting me. Sometimes he's just knocking my hands out of the way because he's a professional fighter and all, and just hitting me at will.
Dude, you'd be like
of course his body blows. Yeah, he's gonna break my fucking ribs.
You'd be like that blonde guy who gets fucked up in Fight Club. He just wouldn't stop beating. He'd be listening to the clip of you saying that he got molested by his coach as he's hyping himself up to go in there and kill it. But come on, Kyle, you don't think with 6 months of training you could handle a guy who's been doing it for 25 years professionally?
No, I don't. And it's just like I like Kitty like sends me this offer and everything, and I'm just like, no, Kitty, do you know who Diego Sanchez is? Because she didn't know the fighter name. I'm like, well, first of all, He's called the Nightmare. I'm sorry, I'm enjoying this.
OnlyFans, bringing sex work back.
Oh shit. Okay. Oh,
they were saying it was a negotiation technique, that he was trying to get pressure on the payment people, like by getting a public upswelling of we want our porn. And now the credit card processors who wouldn't work with OnlyFans are like, okay, maybe we should work with you. And now OnlyFans is allowing sex work again. They decided to keep it.
Yeah.
And I found out what the problem was. So as a YouTuber, we all get this. They have a strike system where, like, I don't know how you break rules, probably non-consent stuff. And one of the rules, which means rape, and one of the rules was child exploitation. And they had a strike system, which you could interpret as like, we're okay with a little child exploitation, but not a lot. And that became this like knock against them. People, saw them in a really negative way. And they were like, well, forget it. We'll just get rid of all sex work entirely. So that was the cause behind that whole thing.
I like
and
the idea that
they're saying it was a ploy.
I like the idea that it was a ploy, right? Like I feel like they were like, we're going to get so much free press. Everybody is going to be talking about us. And every one of our content creators is going to be talking about us. Not about their pussy this week and like what they're sticking up their ass. They're going to be talking about OnlyFans and how get it while it's hot, folks, because it's not going to be here much longer. And then, just like that, we give it back. And there's going to be a fucking inswell of people coming to get it. I feel like next week YouTube's going to be like, you know what? Audio only from now on. No more videos. No more videos.
YouTubers
Podcasts.
used to do that. They used to say
ASMR.
they were quitting just to get everyone to be like, no, don't quit. Do you remember that? It was like
that's risky business because they could be like, fuck off.
Yeah. Something Harley said earlier about like this division, how people just totally suck Trump's dick or totally suck Biden's dick. It's a little frustrating to me because Biden is saying this kind of stuff that Republicans would love. This like, hey, we're pulling out of Afghanistan. They loved that last year. They absolutely loved it. They bragged about it all the way up. Trump was like, dude, I made it happen. This is me. I said pull out in May. He tried to undo it. He couldn't. I tied his hands. Now they're completely ignored that. They've removed that from their website, etc. Now they're acting like this was all Biden's idea of pulling out. Now, we all agree the execution could be better, but he's doing shit that Republicans should love, and they hate it now because it's him doing it. We got attacked by ISIS, right? He's like, we are going to, like, he practically gave I have a very specific set of skills speech out there at the podium. And he is going to hunt them down. He's going to kill them. He's going to remove them from the earth. And it was tough and it was well delivered. So what do the Republicans do? They act like he has dementia. They're wondering who his handler is, like that same old tired bullshit. And it's like, bro, you love this shit. You love it. I love it. And I'm like, am I being biased when I love it? Am I allowed to? I don't know. But
I like I like what I like. I feel like I'm pretty good at like just liking what I like and not caring whose team it is necessarily on. That's how you're supposed to be. I think it is. Look, I like Trump more than Biden. I genuinely think Biden might have a few screws loose, just a little bit. But like, it's not like Trump was like the professor, like it's not like he was coming out like with fucking flow charts and shit, and like it was just. I don't know. I'm probably wrong about that opinion. However, like I feel like they both did a pretty good job on this Afghanistan thing and about war in general. I really like that Trump was like. I feel like Trump would have pulled out, but like he really wanted to keep the right happy. He really wanted to keep like the insiders from the right happy, and it seemed like he was like, yeah, we're getting out of there. Of course What are you guys talking about? It's so expensive. What are we doing? And they were like, psst, nah.
Yeah. Because
here's my question:
Joe Rogan got
COVID.
So he took his horse dewormer. He's fine.
You know what's interesting is my buddy.
I don't think he took the horse dewormer.
I'm positive he took it. This is a thing.
He said it on his Instagram.
Yeah,
but he didn't say it was the horse version. There's a human version of that.
The only difference is the dose.
Well, yeah, and that's a big difference because if you take the horse dose, what people are doing is taking the horse dose of it, and it literally ruins your intestinal tract.
Which is
so. My buddy hit me up and he's like, "Hey, I have an extra ticket to Joe Rogan. Do you want to go?" I was like, sure, why not? He, on his Instagram story today, he said that Sunday was like, he just fell off the rails. And like, that's when it was at its worst. I was sitting like 8 rows from him on Saturday.
Good luck.
Orlando. He had an Orlando show. But
what shot you got? Better not be J&J.
Pfizer, bro.
Yeah,
Pfizer
you're fine.
day.
Don't worry
Pfizer
about
gang.
it. I bathed in the sweat of 85,000 sweaty Californian ravers. I'm good. You know,
Your Pfizer also, Jericho?
Yeah.
I think Kyle is also. I'm the only Moderna guy here.
Sorry, you guys are.
Moderna with the O or the A? Moderna?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's so good.
Someone had that fake vaccine card.
Oh man,
that perfectly exemplifies the kind of people that you're dealing with.
Yeah,
that they can't even spell the fucking vaccine correctly. Like, it's they deserve it. They deserve it. This is literally evolution at work. This is what evolution is all about.
We have too many people already anyway.
There's too many people. Like, it's like that episode of The Office, right? Where like Dwight is like, we need a new plague.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Is COVID the answer to global warming? I feel like in a sense it might be.
I hope
it's not doing enough damage. I mean, it is crazy to me because you're right.
To mutate. We're just warming up.
We're on COVID
Atlanta, right?
Yeah,
start a plague.
The Delta variant. That's only.
I'm trying to get
4 if I'm
Zeta.
counting this right. Yeah, there's got to be some.
They need
Epsilon,
the Uber variant,
Gamma variant.
The Delta Sigma variant's gonna be tough.
Yeah, so I have no idea that. I thought we beat it. I thought that remember when we all couldn't get vaccines soon enough and there was this line, you had to go to the red areas of your state and reserve an appointment. I thought at that point, in 6 weeks, we'll all have the vaccine and this thing will be behind us. One, we didn't all get the vaccine. It turned out demand fell off a cliff once all the Democrats got vaccinated. And 2, the vaccine didn't do everything it was supposed to.
I thought Chiz wanted me to come on and talk about this actually right after it broke, but we got canceled super heavily by fat chicks.
I know.
I don't know if you guys heard about this.
I heard a bit about it. Yeah.
Yeah, this was pretty juicy. So these fat chicks dredged up an old podcast clip of mine from December that I just had no recollection of. And looking back, it was one of those rants that just comes from above, where it's you can't even take credit for it. Like I imagine Beethoven composed symphonies that were similar. It's just out of nowhere. It was you haven't heard this thing. It was the point where you're like 75% through your podcast. So for you guys, it's maybe the 3 hour, 15-minute mark where the conversations died out. There's a lull, sort of like there is right now. So I just come in with, is there anything more worthless than the bottom half of a fat girl? I mean, and especially a titless fat girl. And I said, if her boobies don't come out past her big belly, she should be shot in the head like a cow. Woody, I'm talking about the issue I had with obese women. They tried to cancel us lately. So it was. Yeah.
Oh man, I wish I didn't miss the beginning.
He's just now starting. Yeah.
I'm just cooking up. I was just telling them it came from one of those moments where there was just a lull in the podcast. Like last December, we were just bored. We were about to go on vacation. I wasn't taking it seriously. And I just started talking about how nothing is worse than the bottom half of a fat girl, because the good thing about a fat girl, and I was fucking around, is that it's easy to get a blowjob, and generally their tits are large enough to be fuckable.
To be fun.
Yeah. And if you can get them in a hot tub, the tits will be bobbing above the surface.
You got a problem with this?
It got a little, it got a teensy bit worse, Woody. I suggested that because the bottom half of fat women is so worthless that we should really just bring back feudal samurais and put the fat women into warehouses, and we measure their tit to belly ratio. If the areolas don't protrude past the navel, then the samurai guy walks up, pulls a katana, and I'm talking a katana as sharp as the one from Kill Bill. Something like that. Just pull it out, and that woman should just be bisected rather, right there on the warehouse floor. And that's all I remember saying. I haven't gone back and watched the full clip, but the way I said it, and again, it was completely non-intellectual. It was just this passion that welled up inside of me. Yeah. And
you didn't have a study.
Yeah. And I mean, it wasn't pre-written material, I guess is what I'm getting at. But and then I saw it like in March, it surfaced on this TikTok called The Best of Podcasting, and it was there for positive reasons. Like the guy who ran the page thought it was really funny, and a bunch of kids in the comments fucking loved it. But then, oddly, 5 months or however long it's been since March later, the feminists got their sweaty, grubby fingers on it. And they, a bunch of them, I heard about it for like a week before anything of consequence happened. People will tell me about it on Patreon. They DM me, I'd be like, haha, yeah, the fats. And then it got really big because some girl with 500,000, a million TikToks started talking about how these men need to be kicked off the internet. YouTube needs to change their community standards, and these men need to be deplatformed. So from that point on, it was a feeding frenzy, almost literally a feeding frenzy. Hungry fat women were, that were in my comments. And we were talking about earlier Wings, how people were calling him a rapist. And we also talked about how these fat women are saying it's not all right to have preferences. Well, sort of in that same vein, their logic was that because I had said mean things in complete jest, obviously, about fat women, that now I was no longer a person, and that anything that was said or done to me was completely valid. So seeing the true colors of the woke mob was very interesting. These people who claimed to be moral and like ethically,
this guy said something I don't like. Take his livelihood from him.
Dude, everybody was calling my girlfriend like the meanest things you could possibly think. I was called a rapist. They were attacking my hairline. A rumor got out that I was 5'5", and everybody was like height shaming me.
Call you fat.
Isn't that funny? It's like, haha, this guy said horrible things about fat women. He's 5'5". Attack him! Attack him! What a loser!
He's got a small dick. He's balding. He's got sun damage under his eyes. His girlfriend's a fucking ugly cunt. Like, and then like people would go as far as telling me they hope my parents get raped and murdered in front of me. But yeah, man, it was fucking hilarious though, because it's one thing to get canceled for saying something racist. Then it's not exactly cool or humble to be retaliating, to be talking shit back. And if you get canceled for some sort of sexual thing, then that's really taboo, and there's not much you can do.
Sexual act, like
making jokes is different than raping
non-consensual sex.
Yeah, exactly. Like if that happens, even if it's a false accusation, you kind of just have to deny and then just kind of disappear for a while. But when it's the fucking fat jokes, like you can say anything you want back to these people. So just every day on my Instagram story and my posts, it would be more thinly veiled fat jokes. Like, hey guys, dropping some more merch this week. Bad news, however, there was a fire at the fulfillment center and all women's sizes other than extra small were burned. Please support anyway. I hope you guys will pick up a shirt. And it was something like that constantly. And then like after every one of those, they'd be like, hey guys, I really feel awful about that last joke. I swear this is getting to me. Tomorrow I'm going to apologize. I will. And then the next day comes and it's fucking, I'm enlisting a new exercise program in my YouTube crew, and they will be fired if their body fat percentage ever exceeds 5. And it's like, it's still been going on. and these women still want us to like apologize. And some of them are still holding their breath. Like, you said you were going to apologize. And when you called the situation your Bay of Pigs, that wasn't an apology. That wasn't an apology.
Why did you buy that?
Yes. Why did you buy a collapsible Spork? I know you don't really like camping.
I want something expensive and yet worse than traditional utensils.
I wanted a Spork. I wanted a Spork in my life.
I just wanted,
I wanted a Spork in my life.
Spork in your life.
I wanted a Spork in my life.
So you can eat soup inefficiently. Why?
Don't judge me. Okay, the Spork is the perfect utensil. First of all, the Spork dominates the spoon. It dominates the spoon. If it's in here, as long as I can remember how to put it in there. I don't right now, but I've got instructions over there somewhere. Where are they? Where are my instructions? Yeah, here they are.
You need instructions for a Spork?
I'll memorize it eventually. I don't do this much. You know, there's a special way to. All right. That way, okay. No, it's like this. It's like this. Yeah, you know, it's easy to forget. There's like 3 different ways for things to go. You know, you get it.
It looks like there's one way for it to go.
Well, you're dumb. That just shows how dumb you are. Clearly,
Yeah,
I mean,
clearly,
you don't know how to use.
I won't be able to.
Clearly, you don't know how to use a collapsible Spork. You haven't been trained yet, but I'm, you know.
But why?
Shit.
You fucking idiot.
Why? It goes in. Look, it went in there. It went in. Yeah.
No. Lift it back up. Lift it back up. That shit did not go in. That shit absolutely did not go in. All right. All right.
Let's go back to instruction.
You fucking retard.
He's back on you. Oh, the Spork.
Hang on.
But I'm just blown away. But why?
Why did you buy us? I'm in the market for a Spork.
You can't possibly be in the.
I am. I do all this moto cam.
I got it.
No, hold it up on the screen so we can confirm that it's sliding gracefully into the holster.
Hang on. It's right in there. Yeah, look at that. Bam.
Look at that. Look at how much time you saved.
Nailed it. All right.
And look, it hooks onto your keychain so you can take it anywhere, right? So now this is part of my life. I'm a Spork man now.
Honestly, the lesson is know how you're feeling before you take mushrooms. If you're nervous, if you're anxious, you know, it's going to be magnified. If you're nervous about taking the drugs, there's a good chance that you're going to be tense going in. So for me, anybody, just relax and know that it's gonna, even if on a bad trip like Kyle had, it ends eventually. But that only comes from experience. Like, I don't get nervous on weed anymore. I don't get paranoid because I know I'm not gonna die. I may be uncomfortable, but whatever. Do you know what I mean? I've been that uncomfortable enough times where it doesn't make me panic anymore. And so I don't take enough anymore. Like, I'm not 7 gramming it like Kyle anymore. I'm anywhere from 1.5 to 3. Just for fun. Just a good time.
Do you have a vivid recollection of any time that you took way too many and you hadn't learned to not panic yet? Like, what happened?
Well, I will tell you, I was out once in Texas. I went to college in Texas. And there was we bought a huge bag of mushrooms. And this dude, this is the weirdest experience I've ever had on mushrooms. I was high and my buddy Chris was high, and we were sitting around this campfire, and he was with his girl, and we were all kind of tripping a little bit. And my buddy Wayne, no matter, as soon as he drank or smoked or he was getting naked. If it was a party,
cool guy,
Wayne was naked, right? So Wayne was drinking, he used to drink gin out of this 1.75 liter, just straight gin.
A handle.
That's disgusting.
Fucking straight gin, this dude. And I just saw him and he was like, "Hey, did we have any more of this popcorn?" And I go, "What?" And I go, "Wayne, that wasn't popcorn. Those were the mushrooms." He goes, "They were pretty good." I go, "Did you finish the bag?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Oh no." So maybe 2 hours later, Wayne comes back to the fire, naked, out of the woods with all this firewood and his handle. And he drops the firewood and he goes, "Hey, you want to come back out in the woods with me and get some more firewood?" And I was like, "Yeah, all right, man." So we're walking away from the fire and it's pitch black. We're in the middle of nowhere. And I go, "Wayne, how can you see?" He goes, "I just follow the light." I go, "What light?" Let me tell you something.
He was holding it up like a light.
Like a lantern.
Yeah.
He was 100% naked, walking through the woods. He walked out with 0 scratches. He didn't fall. He, for whatever reason, was seeing. I was walking into trees. I fell over. He was in a tree pulling down branches because he could see with the light. Now, I asked somebody about this before. It was so fucking crazy to me because I'm like, that is definitely not a light.
It's gin. And there's only a little left.
Yeah. How are we doing this right now? This dude, it was the craziest thing. For whatever reason, he was seeing exactly where to go.
Could it be that like it made his pupils like
Dilate
so big,
much.
like more dilated than they would ever naturally even be. And he actually has night vision now.
It's crazy because I imagine the moon gave the bottle at least a little bit of something, right?
Yeah.
And so I think so too, that his pupils were so whacked that he was actually seeing in a place he had no business seeing.
He could see the code of the Matrix.
But dude, which is what I thought when I was on shrooms. I was like, this dude can see in the dark now. Like I ran back to when we went back to the fire, I was like, Wayne can see in the dark. Wayne can fucking see in the dark.
I don't know. Something ran up and bit me earlier, and now I can see in the dark. I'm so thirsty.
Give me some of that light. Let me see if I can see. Oh no, it's just
crazy. Yeah. I like mushrooms way more than acid because it doesn't last as long. And I can see the end in sight if I'm not enjoying
Have
myself.
you ever thought of doing DMT?
Yeah, I have. I would love to.
So I want to bounce back to Finn. So what was kind of the reaction of your family, if they had one, when you started doing this online? I was imagining myself, and like I was just thinking, like, man, my dad and my parents would not have been cool with me doing that. Is my guess.
Actually telling them was a remarkably smooth thing, but there was plenty of times that like it was happening and they got glimpses into it and I hadn't told them yet, which is so goddamn funny to me. Like I was in a car ride. I was on like a bit of a road trip with my mom and I was in the passenger seat. She was driving and I was just going through my photos and there was a selfie that I took and my mom happened to look over at that 1 minute and she go, "Oh, who's she?" I went, "Oh, my friend." I forgot what name I made up, but yeah. And then half a year later, I started.
Your mom thinks you're cute.
So then, when like, you just went and told them, and they were like, "You know what? That's great. Good for you."
This would make such a good episode, like a sitcom, where you like have to keep. You're like, "Oh, that's my girlfriend. Oh, what's her name?" And you have to make up a whole persona, and like you like they come over, and you have to pretend to be the girlfriend. You're
like leaving the room and then getting dressed again.
Tom Hanks sitcom, Bosom Buddies.
Oh yeah, wasn't that where like the landlord wouldn't allow like cohabitation between like a man and a woman, and so he had to like dress up as a woman so that he could like.
If I recall, the entire building was female only. But the rent was low, so he and his male co-star pretended to be women every time they entered the building, and some of their friends knew and some didn't.
That's a good premise for a show. That wouldn't work anymore.
Somehow they'd get canceled, even though it didn't seem all that harmful.
So was there a difference in the way your mom and dad responded to it, or were they both cool?
I've got a worse one about my dad, which I've told before, but oh my god, it makes me cringe just thinking about it. Because the way he the way he initially at least got his first glimpse into what I was doing was that he'd found, weirdly enough, like he'd found a pair of underwear, which a pair of women's underwear that I had for a stream at some point, and he saw them in the laundry, and he didn't assume. By the way, I've just thinking about this now. He didn't assume I had a girlfriend. He immediately went to, "Oh, he's a cross-dresser. Okay, cool." That was it. He never assumed that I had a secret girl. I'm just now thinking about that.
He's an intuitive guy.
Yeah. No, I think he just didn't think much of me.
I'm trying not to think much of me. I have so many jokes, but I don't want to be mean. It's just like, oh, there's no way he's got a girl that's hot enough to wear these coming over. These are my son's panties.
These are my son's panties. The moment every father dreams about.
Victor's secret. Yep.
Victor's secret. Well, that's good. Your parents were cool.
That's got to be a website. Let's see what the old ticker says. It's close. We're close.
Yes. What are we looking at? A ticker?
Kyle, countdown to freedom. I'm like vicariously excited for my friend Kyle. I'm so excited for him.
I was on the WhatsApp today. Like, hey, what it's today? Did it happen? I felt guilty. Like I missed a birthday.
I wouldn't be here. I mean, I'd be here, but like here would be in Colorado.
You'd be on the plane.
I mean, maybe
if Freedom Day was this morning, you'd probably wait till tonight or something. No, really? But you have to travel. You have to. How would you?
It's a 3-hour flight.
Got a podcast to do.
If Freedom was,
I'd be here to do the show, but I'd be doing it there. Like I'd have made it happen. So
you'd
that
have figured it out.
Even if like
you mean if it was like in an hour, in 2 hours? Oh, I do the same thing.
You probably leave after the show. Yeah. The real challenge is if it was right before the show somehow.
Yeah, I can't leave the state until like the ticker clicks over or whatever. But yeah,
it's like a day and 2 hours, right?
A day and 2 hours. Yeah, 1 day, 1 hour, 57 minutes.
Wow.
Exactly.
I wanted to ask you some about that. Like just kind of recapping all that. Is your current mentality like, finally this is up, or is it like, well, obviously it is, but like, do you look back and kind of think, how did I get through this? Like, how did I buckle down and just grind this for so long? Because I'm sure looking back, it's a percentage of your life, like a tenth of your life.
Such a grind. It's been such a grind. Such a grind.
When was the day at the post office? Do you know that date?
Oh, I don't remember. We looked it up the other day.
It was early 2018, late 2017. It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Maybe early 2018.
Yeah, you can find it pretty easy. It's been 4 years ago almost, I would say.
Mm-hmm. What was the most I mean, obviously the prison part, but like as far as like
I don't know if that's obvious.
As far as the waiting part, like what was the most difficult? Was it the very beginning where it's like, this is an insurmountable amount of time, I can't fucking believe this, I can't even get high? Or was it like 2 months to go, you can sniff it and it's times in slow motion?
I mean, I put the timer on my phone like back in January or something like that. The timer started at like 250 days or something. I don't really remember exactly. But yeah, and just looking at the timer slowly tick down from 250 days to like 4 months, 3 months, 2 months, 1 month has been just a real fucking grind. Yeah.
Over 10% of your life has been lived under the cloud of this fucking
oh my God.
hot raid.
Yeah.
It was 2017, August 2017.
And Kyle's 39 years old.
It's been a while, man. It's been a while. I'm so glad that it's just on the cusp of being over.
I'm so happy for you, man.
Oh, it's going to be great. Yeah. So landed in Colorado on Saturday, and I've just been real high ever since. Having a great time. I did do Delta 8 before I came out here because I wanted to be able to compare the two. Delta 8 to me is just as strong as like
there was the gap after midnight where you were free but still in Atlanta.
Yeah. So I tried that Delta 8 stuff and it was really strong. Really strong. I got a Delta 8 vape, and then when I got here I compared it to like a strong marijuana vape, and I think the Delta 8 is at least as strong and maybe even fucking stronger. It was so goddamn strong.
I meant to mention it on PKN because you were like, because you talked about how like before you smoked, like you weren't that into vapes. You liked like the concentrates, like using a dab rig. And it's like, it was funny thinking like you were out of the game for so long that technology increased to the point that like you're hitting it and you're like, it's just like taking a dab.
Yeah.
But it's in a pen. Like,
yeah.
I mean, being out of the weed world for 4 years is like, I mean, like this is the burgeoning industry. Like it's changed.
He's like one of those prisoners that are like, dude, phones have screens now.
Yeah.
Their payphones are gone.
Yeah. For those who don't know what you're talking about, like when I was smoking a lot of weed 5 years ago or whatever, it seemed to me that like vape pens were like weak sauce. It was like an electronic joint, essentially.
You told me I hadn't even been high.
I'm not sure you have, but I mean, I want to believe. I'm kind of like, just like in kind of Mulder in the X-Files kind of thought process.
At the 2 hour point, I'm
you're gonna go get get hydrated. Yeah, go get hydrated.
Right.
But yeah, it seemed to me at least like 5 years ago when I would smoke a vape pen out here that like it was kind of weak sauce. It was kind of like a really weak joint that you had to hit like 10 times to get stoned, and even then it was kind of this like head high, not really a body high. It was kind of a giggly high. But the one that I got out here immediately, like a $60 1 gram pen, it is more like a dab rig or something. It's what it feels like to me. Granted, it's either that technology has advanced and they just literally are stronger, or I just have no sense of like any tolerance whatsoever. Because not only does it a small amount get me really stoned, but it lasts for like 3 or 4 hours, which is something I'm not accustomed to. So
finally, at long last, lock and load. That link is below. Have huge comes all over your boyfriends and girlfriends, whoever you want, your parent.
I mean, your dogs, your cats, your kitchen table. Really, these loads should be a centerpiece, a display.
Yeah, it's going to be a huge part of the show. It's all we're going to talk about now until we
One
sell
thing that would
shit.
be cool is if you went through the process, whatever it takes to get your load. What would you say? 3 weeks, 6 weeks, something like that before you've achieved things.
I'd say,
and then
yeah,
if you
2 weeks,
if you tweeted them to Taylor, that'd be so funny.
Yeah, or to Kyle or to Woody.
You want to send those straight to business@pkaonline.com.
Yes, send it doesn't. We need a pre and a post, so we can see how much your volume has increased. So check it out,
Now, boys.
It's a legit product.
You're gonna need yourself a 3 milliliter syringe and a pack of cheap jimmies. All right, and you're gonna come in the condoms. You're gonna draw out the semen. You're gonna be able to measure it to the milliliter, okay, or to the fraction of the milliliter. You might need multiples, okay. By the end of my transition. 9 milliliters of fluid. That's what we were producing with Lock and Load. An incredibly stout, viscous, foamy, hot load.
Yeah.
This is 3.
It's milliliters, so it doesn't sound like a lot, but that's a lot for cum.
It's a lot.
Huge amount of cum.
It's
So
a gargantuan load.
The viscosity is impressive. I use it to lubricate my truck.
Yeah, I use it to lubricate other people's trucks in parking lots. I'm helping.
I'm pretty sure a vial of my medication is like 10 milliliters. So it's like 9 is enormous. It's enormous.
And it's not going to give you like a watery load. It's going to be thick. It's going to
Wouldn't
like
do you wrong.
Yeah, it's like
Here's the
spider's
question
web.
though. What if I inject a normal man with my load after I've been taking the load stack for some
He'll
time?
get pregnant.
You'll go to prison.
Oh. No, he wants it. He wants
Oh,
it.
he wants it. Okay.
Yeah, this is consensual.
Then that's fine.
Oh. And I do mean with the syringe, like right into his vein.
Yeah,
Like,
if he
we-
said do it, then you wouldn't get in trouble. It would probably kill him.
No, like
Sounds like you've added an unnecessary middleman in this
Yeah.
process. When you're
Well-
going to come into a condom.
Oh, don't be crass.
Don't be gross.
I'm being sexy.
No,
mean,
it's
what
finally
would
out.
happen if
I
someone-
know that there were people who didn't believe that we were actually making something called Lock and Load that made your loads bigger. I told my dad about this about 6 months ago. He thought it was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, my dad liked it too.
But yeah, it took a long time.
Thought it was a really funny idea, but that was embarrassing to explain.
I'm hoping my dad doesn't know about it.
Wow. Go forth and
10%
be
off with
go
code
forth and
PKA.
be fruitful. Am I right,
Mom.
Dad?
Mom's the word, Mom.
Yeah. Yeah, but finally we're here. This isn't a joke. It's not Tilk, which was my fake titty milk company where we were going to sell not just to babies, because why do they get it all? That was our slogan.
Yeah. But this is a real product with real formulations, science, technology, math.
Yeah.
All the sciences.
Nice.
Involved. Geometry, the shape of the
Most of the math was counting the pills, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's how you can tell this is gonna,
Honestly,
it would have been way easier to be like, just take 1 pill a day, but to get to the amounts needed that Derek was like, we need efficacious dosages. The first text he sent to us in the group, he was like, guys, it sounds silly, but is 18 pills a day too many? And literally the number was it was 18. And we're like, dude, Derek, I know, but we gotta get it to less than 18. The monthly box, it was enormous. And it was after like science and really figuring out how to like get more in there that he's like, I got it down to 9. It's gonna be 9. Kyle, you made some delicious baked goods today, packed with just probably a stupid amount of marijuana.
So I took, I wrote it all down.
That's less than I expected.
I took 7 grams of 25% THC marijuana, and I cooked that into cupcakes for a total of 1,750 milligrams of THC, which is a little more than we want tonight.
Almost twice as much.
So we are doing 6
About
of them.
10 times more than I want.
You took about 2/3 of the.
I've got
cupcakes,
2/3.
The other 1/3, I guess, is.
The only problem is 2/3 of the cupcakes when you're trying to hit 1,000 milligrams is an entire plate of cupcakes.
Taylor, are you looking at that and thinking, what's the problem? Because
I started on this one already. What are you
gonna eat the last 3 hours of the show?
So I think what I'm going to do is start like by eating one now and then slowly rank.
Yeah, you should ease
scale up.
into it.
Yeah, that's a. Do they taste good? Oh, sorry.
No, they don't. Fuck. That was my question. They don't. They don't. They taste like grass, probably. That tastes like chocolate. If I had to guess, like everything that I've had, especially that strong, just tastes like grassy chocolate.
Yeah, it's really strong with weed, but I did put real frosting on top, so that doesn't taste like shit.
Yeah, it looks like you put a huge amount of chocolate to mask it.
I went to this smoke shop today and I bought Delta 8, an edible.
No!
Wait.
No, I just like the whole Delta 8 stuff is kind of like it's legal for me to get regular weed here, so it's like why I always have this weird connotation. Yeah, I have this weird connotation with like anything that's not traditional THC. Right, like when I was growing up, kids smoking spice and like the other like stuff. It just is weird. But I think Delta 8's fine. I'm pretty sure.
The thing Delta 8 is the bee's knees. That it has like
it is great.
It's not bad for you in the same way that pot's not bad for you, right? Like alcohol's worse. Anyway, I could go on, and it's legal. And I thought that I don't know. I guess I'm just trying to. They were really mad last week, and we're doing like a makeup episode. We're trying to get it right.
We'll get high as shit. I'm taking 25 Delta 8 milligrams.
I'm doing the same. Maybe this is a mistake. So this is 100 high potency whatever, and I'm going to cut a quarter off of it.
It's going to be too much. Kyle, how are you feeling? You look high as shit.
So I'm vibrating. Like I've got this like pulsating thing, this like whom, 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 whom that I can like feel like the sensation like in my head, my hands, and like my chest. I'm trying to like really form full sentences in my head before I say them.
Yeah.
Because I can go like I can meander otherwise.
How many do you have left to get through? Oh my god.
Oh my god.
No, I
really didn't expect that.
I did see that he was eating it the whole time.
I was trying to get them all down at 2 hours.
You know what? Solidarity. I'll take another one.
Oh no!
I'm using
Actually,
my
I need to be able
PKA
to do the
cut
show.
my gummy.
Yeah.
I can't leave Tucker.
Wait, all right. So Kyle, I have a good. So you have had a cup of coffee, but thoughts on a second cup?
It seems really stressful to like go up there right now. I got like a flight of stairs that I'd have to hit, and
have Fish or Dirty. Fair. Have Fish or Dirty bring you one.
They're passed out. I don't.
Well, get those idiots ass up.
They sent me.
Said edibles taste bad. And it's hard to disguise. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
You're eating the gelatin sugar cube. You know, Kyle's eating 1,000 milligrams of shitty baked. Like I'm not really trusting Kyle's ability to bake good cupcakes, and he baked them with weed.
He takes pride, actually.
I'm very good at it. Yeah, I'm a professional here. I use mason jars.
Okay.
So I decarbed at 215 degrees for an hour and 20 minutes.
Yes.
And I used pretty high grade marijuana. It was 25% THC. And I used 7 grams, I believe. So that's a quarter ounce. And then I'm stick with me here. And then I added a stick of butter, and I put that in the jar with the weed, and then I threw it back in the oven for 3 more hours, and then I let it cool and filtered it with cheesecloth into the cake mix. And now I am very, very high.
So do you have the delayed input thing yet? Where if you wave your arm in front of your face, you feel like you told it to do so 2 seconds before it does it? Do you have that?
I'm like every muscle in my body is like really tense right now because I'm trying to keep from actually moving.
You don't want to move. That's too stressful right now.
No, I don't want to vibrate because it feels like I'm vibrating. It feels like I need to hang on.
All right. Well,
that sucks.
I mean, you do need to hang on.
Yeah,
you do.
I've been clutching the backs of my knees like this for like I don't even know how long. My hands are sore.
Are you like getting sweaty?
No, I'm not getting sweaty. It's really cold in the house. It's really chilly.
According to the internet, it takes 30 to 60 minutes. Another site said 30 to 90 for them to kick in.
Yeah.
And peak is in 2 to 3 hours. So I guess
I
very end of the
disagree
show.
with the 2 to 3
That doesn't
hours. By
that
the
doesn't
way.
make sense. I don't feel like
It
it
is-
works that way.
So tell me more. What do you think?
I feel like it hits way sooner than that.
I feel like peak hits like 90 minutes.
Yeah, I feel like it hits me and then I rise.
We're
a bit,
splitting hairs.
and then like by the time 3 hours later, like I'm at a nice comfortable high. I'm like ripped out of my
A
mind.
lot of it is it depends on your metabolism. It depends on what kind of edible you're eating, you know, whether it was dissolved into fat, what kind of fat, or if it's like what you've got with the gummies or whatever.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of metabolism's big though, because I can remember taking a big dose of edibles and it hitting me an hour in, and then by 3 hours in, it was just crazy town, which is kind of where we're
so
headed right now.
stressful, you know.
Yeah,
So this is why edibles stress me out. You know, unless I'm going on an airplane, love doing it before I go on an airplane, because then it's just like I plan on being comatose until this sarcophagus lands wherever I need it to land. Right.
You know what would suck? It would suck if you accidentally packed drugs and went back to prison.
Ah!
No, don't say things like that to him. Don't say things
Oh,
like that.
accident. My bad.
I don't think the Denver airport would care if you flew out with weed. And you know what? It's actually legal to fly out of LAX or any airport in California with weed.
Now I have to leave my luggage here.
No, but you should search your luggage, right, before you fly.
Yeah, all I've really had are these pens, and I've only had 2 of them, and they lasted for pretty much the duration.
But speaking of the spooky season, you have a demon tale for us?
I do. We're going off the rails here tonight. All right. So, little context. As a child, I always used to see things: ghosts, demons, goblins, monsters, voices, all this shit constantly. I hated it. But it was a part of my reality, but it got lesser as I got older. So probably something growing up, environmental, hormonal, whatever.
Yeah.
This was probably about, I was like 12, 13 years old. And in that time, I was very tired of this aspect of my life. So I used to try to take pictures of things like that whenever it would pop up, whenever I would see it, because I figured ghosts hate cameras, right?
Yeah. Well,
and I was living in a place in Kentucky that I considered to be extremely haunted. I have a story about an evil doll I can tell you as well, or dolls, plural, that move on their own. So I was freaked out. I was like a little nervous ball of mess of a kid. Every fucking day there was a voice or a noise or some goddamn light or some spooky thing or some problem, at least a couple times a week, right?
Can you describe like what it was you were seeing? Like a fully formed thing, a shadow?
Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there.
Okay.
So in the context of this story, I'm minding my own business in my bedroom. I'm just cleaning it. I'm like 12, 13. It's a mess, right? And it's a nice like old wood cabin kind of place. So we have these wood doors with the complicated grain pattern and stuff. And I'm minding my own business and I look over at the door and I watch it like warble very briefly as if something is trying to push through the wood grain pattern. Now, here's the bizarre thing. What you're probably imagining is something like the Predator or like an elite from Halo standing in front of it with like the light bending. But it was more like my brain was opening to a pattern in the wood grain that I could previously not perceive, but now that I could. And it was both moving and not moving at the same time. And it was wiggling and wobbling and coming together. And it formed the shape of something that I would say would be a cartoon demon, something like you would imagine out of an 80s or 90s scary movie, you know, demonic goat legs, scary hands with nails and horns and whatnot, huge, full frame of the door just standing there. And it's like, hi. I'm like flipping out. I'm like turning white and I'm like just fucking scared shitless. And the thing starts talking to me and telling me how fun it's been to play with me and that my brother's on the chopping block next. Can't wait to see what he's going to do to him. And
Jesus.
But it was talking not in my ears. It was talking up here. There was a voice and thoughts in my head that were not my own, just flowing in from somewhere. And I was panicking. And I remember as a child caring about my brother a lot. So I told it to stay with me and leave him alone. And it thought this was very amusing, said it would do so, and then said, let me give you a little preview of the future. And the wood grain just snapped, and it was almost like a TV screen, but like 2D and made of wood lines, just flashing little things in that theoretically would be in the future. Also an awful, nasty stuff, right? A lot of bad things. And then pops back to the demon, and it's just like, bye. And immediately the pattern goes away. It never changed to begin with. I could no longer perceive this. And the scary thing was that of the 4 things that I was shown, 3 have come true.
Ooh, I'm sure not all of them are things you want to share. Are any of them something you could?
It's primarily personal things with my family.
Fair enough.
Just
yeah.
Things that would, like how grandma dies, stuff like that.
Well, that's so you were hallucinating regularly as a child all the time.
Not all. As I got older, much lesser. As a very young child, yes, at the very least. As an adult,
I think Taylor phrased that incorrectly. When did the visions begin?
As long as I can remember.
You're right, Kyle. I'm sorry. This is the Halloween season. We need to buy in.
Literally, as long as I can remember. You want a killer doll story?
When did you realize you were a seer?
When I was 7 years old, I had to go to various psychiatrists and analysts or whatever to let them do whatever they were going to do. They put me on a lot of different medications that children should not take, and it didn't help the problem at all. I had a terrible home environment, so it's probably some manifestation of that. That kind of instability is really bad for little kids. A lot of scary movies, stuff like that.
You ever seen any aliens or anything?
No, I've seen shadow people. I've seen lights.
Fucking shadow person, man.
It's it's like a fucking a shadow on your wall of a person, but there's no fucking person there.
Well, I hate that.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
I don't care for that either.
Is your home life extraordinarily bad or like normal bad? Like parents got divorced, like half of kids go through.
Extraordinary.
Okay.
Fuck.
So
enough to make you see demons and
I was having a good day up until like 20 minutes ago.
We can make this one.
So the way to think about it, you talked about DMT, and that's what gave me the idea. I legitimately think that my brain dropped a tiny bit of the DMT stores that it has because it felt like I was perceiving a pattern that previously I could not perceive, and hearing things that I previously could not. I had issues with dolls that would move on their own in the same house. I fucking hated that. It used to creep me out because I always felt like they were staring at me.
I'm sorry to keep interrupting you, but I'm fascinated.
Okay.
When you say move on their own, like it wiggle a little, or it would just be here and now it's like in another room.
Yeah, like being in
second one.
Leave it.
But to an extreme degree. So we were rich. We had a giant toy room bigger than this office. They had a whole fucking wall of stuffed animals. And they all had these little glass eyes that I thought were staring at me all the time because I was a fucked up little kid. Didn't like it. It was very annoying. So what I decided to do one day is go in there and turn all 100 of them around to face the wall. So just like teddy bear butts facing the rest of the room. And my little play areas, I had a little game station right beside the door to the playroom. So just sit in the door would be right here. So I did that and I was like, great, I'm going to go play Road Rash on N64. And I do that for a little bit. I was like, I want something from the toy room. So it might have been an hour and a half later. Nobody is going in there. Parents are like gone. It's just me. If somebody did go in, it would have had to been like right beside me. Right. I go in there and all 100 of these fucking dolls have turned around. And they're not just facing outward on the shelf like where they were, but the ones on the further ends are like angled in. So they're all looking at the door the very moment I opened it.
Ooh. Did you turn them back around?
Yeah, I just closed the door and left. Just fucking out. Bye. See ya.
Dave Chappelle.
Yes. Yeah, we all watched it?
Yeah, we did. The whole world said it wasn't that funny. And I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was funny.
It has really good audience
by
scores.
The story at the end. Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Or
the tomato meter, like the critics hated it, but like the audience scores 95. Like people like it.
Yeah, I watched it in Colorado the other day. We watched it as a group. Again, really bugging high. And I liked it a lot. I did not like that whole story at the end.
I liked it. Carry on.
Well, you know what? I just realized the reason I didn't like it is because like I was getting invested in it because this is a really sweet story. And then Fish gets on his phone next to me, finds out what the end of the story is, and then yells it into my ear.
Why would he do that? What an asshole.
Wow.
And like I'm trying not to spoil it intentionally for people who I hope will watch Dave Chappelle special. If you haven't yet, it's on Netflix, obviously. But it was one of these things where like imagine that like we were watching Star Wars and he just goes, "That's his dad." It was like, he kind of did that like 3 minutes before the actual scene. So maybe that killed it for me. But
that is a good analogy.
I like the special in general. I thought it was funny. I thought that he's very good at defending himself and making his points well. The whole thing about I forgot because I'm high, but it was something about how like it was less of a news story. How you could kill a black man and still have a career, but you can't make fun of a gay person and still have one. That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. He had a lot of good jokes in there. I enjoyed it. The story was good. It just like, as far as the pacing, like the first like half of it, when it was more like traditional, like jokes and everything, like at least half a dozen times I laughed out loud. Like the misdirection, I won't say it or anything, but the space Jews bit in the beginning, that misdirection, that was hilarious. Like it was really, really funny. And the story at the end was good too. It's just, it almost felt like disjointed because it was like high tempo, like joke. And then it like became just a like story telling it, which was a good story. It was interesting. It kept my attention. And the whole time, like I was watching it, like he would say a controversial joke. And I'm like, yeah, that's a controversial in 2021 saying that. But I kept waiting for like, where's the big boom going to be? Where's the big boom that everybody's so furious about? And I got to the end of it and it's like, oh, people are just being fucking ridiculous about this. Like being like hyper offended at him. Like I expected something like huge that like he would say would be totally, in these people's minds out of line. But like, no, it seemed like a good stand-up special. He said he's taking a huge break after this. And something I've always liked about him is like he does whatever he wants. He'll leave money on the table.
Joe
like
Rogan does that too.
Yeah, and so that endears him to me. So overall, it was a good special. I liked this special more than the previous two ones on Netflix. Those didn't make me laugh as much as this one. So who was talking about like, no, I don't do my own stunts. I want to make sure there are jobs for the stuntmen. Like Kyle, you would know better than
Alec,
I would.
Alec Baldwin. poor bastard.
I feel bad for the poor bastard too. I'm afraid I'm like the liberal on this call, but like, dude, they told him the gun was clear, and then it wasn't, and he's the actor, right? There's someone else in charge of this.
Hey, you know what? You know what thought I just had?
Go ahead.
Do you think he said something cool right before he pulled the trigger?
I hope so. Make my day.
Oh God, make my day. Oh shit.
I mean, he probably did. He's an actor.
Yeah.
Probably said something.
He was practicing, I think, practicing a cross draw. Yeah, they were in the church set. He was practicing a cross draw from his left to right, I guess, and the gun was loaded. And when he pulled the trigger, the cinematographer was right in front of him, went through her into the director, one bullet, and no one can really figure out why there was live ammo on the set, never mind in the friggin' gun at the time. But I have some theories. This girl that they had in charge of the weapons was unbelievably incompetent and not ready for the job.
Yeah.
And obviously you guys are familiar with guns. A Western revolver, you don't pop the cylinder out and spin it and look. You have to open a gate on a Western revolver and you see one chamber at a time. And you literally have to go click, click, click and look at every single one to make sure it's empty. I bet someone opened the gate and went, oh, it's empty. Saw one empty chamber and then put it down and said, oh yeah, that's a cold gun. And
that's a good theory. The sheriff of the county that it happened in is not ruling out criminal charges against Alec Baldwin.
Yeah. I mean, he is the guy that pulled the trigger and it was pointed at someone, and who knows.
I don't think anything will come of that.
I don't think so either. I don't think so either.
I could see how maybe someone wouldn't rule it out, even if like he just doesn't want to close that door. Like if I'm president and they say, Woody, are you willing to nuke someone? I'm like, everything's on the table, right? Why would I disarm myself in that regard?
Right.
So that might have been what he was doing, but I still feel like, look, someone's guilty of negligence.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I just don't think it's Alec Baldwin.
Well, I think Kyle was the one who told us, or maybe it wasn't Kyle, maybe I read this, that the reason the woman was hired as the armorer is because her dad was a famous armorer in Hollywood, and they kind of were just like, well, you do it. And she, I think, to her credit, I think like she even said she wasn't qualified to do this.
Yeah.
Like
Wow.
I'm not qualified to handle. The
So
guns.
I didn't say that. That's new information to me. But the idea that your armorer on the movie or TV show or whatever was like, I'm not fit for this job. Like
I could do that job.
Let's not feel bad.
Any of us could do that job.
Well, I mean, better than her.
No shit. I bet I could leave without someone dead.
There's a fan of the show who is an armorer for Hollywood. His name's actually maybe I shouldn't name him, but we all know who we're talking about. It's poor Anthony. And there's a lot to it. Like when he has people even use blanks, he controls the angles at which they shoot. Like they don't even shoot blanks at each other.
Nope.
It's a camera trick to sort of make it look like they're pointed at each other. And that's part of the safety protocol that he ensures happens. So maybe I would fuck that job up, but at least there wouldn't be real bullets in the guns.
Yeah.
There's supposed to be so many redundancies in how they check the guns. And the second you hand it off, that person is supposed to check the gun to make sure it's empty. Because, you know, you hear, oh, it's a prop gun. How does a prop gun? They're real guns. These are real firing, actual guns. As a matter of fact, another thing that they did that was fucked up was target practice. They were shooting cans with the guns that they were using the next day to film with actual live ammo, and they're plinking cans with these guns. So there was live ammo in the set. They said that they had mixed, they had found a tray of blanks and live ammo in one of the trailers. There isn't even supposed to be live ammo on the set. Like that isn't even supposed to be there. But you know, again, there are so many things. The assistant director was the one that handed the weapon to Alec Baldwin. He's not supposed to do that. He didn't check the gun beforehand. He just assumed it was empty. So, you know, there's a chain of custody there, I think, that everyone fucked up.
I really hope it was some like really creepy quip that he made, and it's going to have to get played in court like over and over. Like, smoke on this Montoya. And then it's just, no!
He's like, I came in your shoes. He's like, I'm going to get you. Can you imagine? Bang. Like, look out.
On the cheap, they said, a lot of people on the crew said they had seen for weeks that it was bad.
One of his line was, "You'll never prove I did this on purpose."
That was a line that they cut from the film. That was
quick, write that in the script. Jesus Christ, help me out here.
The Kyle Rittenhouse trial's happening right now.
I saw a little of it yesterday.
It's kind of just leading off. There's some new footage that we've never seen before. There's like, I think it's CIA drone footage where you can see it from above. And so there's some new information that's coming out during the trial. I don't know. We'll see. I'm still learning. My opinion hasn't changed too much. It's all down to that first shooting, right? You know, like it was an area that was like cleared by the police and sort of and Rittenhouse, the man is just really passionate about protecting used cars. I think that's what it comes down to.
Woody, some Americans still care about their communities. It's a real cry and shame to see that you're not amongst them.
If you wouldn't hold a spear in front of a used Toyota dealership, you're not even an American.
When I stand in front of Jim Chronic Toyota, I'm ready to die. God damn it! You want to burn that? You want to burn that Tacoma? Burn me first. That's what I say.
Yeah, I'm defending this place that would fuck me and try and trick me into getting like extra financing.
Yeah, they would sell me permaplate. Yeah,
you show up and defend the dealership. We'll give you 5% off your next purchase.
It's even better than the factory warranty.
let's do ignorant gambling then, which is the what I'm going to call this new game, which is where we gamble on what we think will happen in the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, knowing very little about the situation, because I don't want to do any research.
That was like years ago now, or 2 years ago maybe.
Yeah, I'm fuzzy on the facts now. So I think he goes free. I think he's all good.
I think he goes to jail.
Oh, perfect bet. You guys are on the opposite sides. How much money are you putting down on this, gentlemen?
I don't want to go sissy on this, so I'm going to say $5.
I think it's got to have a little. It's got to be goosed up a little more than that.
I'm not going to bet.
I didn't know that was going to be a joke. When he said, "I don't want to be sissy on this," I was like, damn, are we about to bet $500 on this? Because I'm not
That's what I
that
thought he
sure.
was going with it too.
I was like, I don't want to bet 500, but I guess. He said $5.
I'm not gonna back down now.
Yeah, you can't look like a bitch.
Well, Jesus Christ.
Okay,
yeah,
how about 50?
It's all about the trophy anyway.
Well, I'm not involved, so I can amp it up as much as.
All right, I'll bet $5.
How about 5% of your net worth?
Let's not get crazy here.
Now, this is high risk.
No. How about $5? And I bet that Kyle Rittenhouse goes free because I caught about, I'm not exaggerating, 30 seconds of his defense yesterday, or what I took to be his defense, and it seemed pretty good.
I'll go this way. I'm going to add a little tie. If he serves less jail time than Kyle, it's a tie. If he serves more, then I win. So he needs to go. He needs to get a stay that's more than 2 months.
I think if he serves less time than me, I win.
Oh no, you've just increased your thing. I added a tie condition because it was jail or not, and now you're trying to push into my territory.
Gotta defend that $5.
Yeah, that's right.
That's $5.
I feel like it's fair.
You have to give Woody odds.
Because the reason I say
yeah,
that
now I want odds. Now
here's
I
why I
want
say
10 if
that.
I
Here's
win,
why I
if
say
you're
that.
gonna come into my territory.
No. Here's why I say that. because if he's not guilty on, like, I don't even know the charges, but let's say he's not guilty on like murder, assault with a deadly weapon, but he's guilty of like negligent discharge of a firearm, and they give him like some community service, I think I still win. Like if they get him,
sure, but it's about the length of jail time. Was yours 60 or 56 days?
I believe it was 58 or 60 days. It was one or the other.
All right, so we'll go to 60. He needs to get sentenced to more than 60 days. I win. Less than 60 days, nobody wins. 0, Kyle wins.
Or it may have been exactly 60 days. No. What it was I was sentenced to 60 days, but the first day and the last day count.
Okay.
And so the first day I
58 full days and the other two.
Yeah.
So the morning of and the evening of.
Or 59 nights.
Yeah, because that's how that worked. Because like the day I got there, I checked in at like 11 a.m. or noon, maybe. I think around noon. And the day I left, I think I got out at like 10 a.m., 11 a.m., something like that.
Zach says 3 murders and 2 gun charges. Interesting. Yeah, gun charges, I don't think you typically go to jail for that. We'll see. But
yeah, it depends on what they are.
I didn't realize he killed 3. I thought he killed 2 and had an injury.
Yeah, I thought the same.
Like the hero. Like when
I don't know about hero. We'll see.
We're going to find out.
Quite the marksman is undeniable.
How many shots did he fire?
I don't know. He fired like 5 shots, disabled 3 people. It was really impressive.
You can we cannot watch this on the show, but you guys, while I'm talking about it, you can watch it briefly for the next 22 seconds with volume. It's called Travis Scott Sings as he watches security carry away one of his fans' lifeless body. It's got 53,000 views. So watch this with the sound and confirm for me and apparently everybody else on the internet other than his hardcore fans that he is absolutely looking at this guy as he's dead, dying, being carried off, singing into the mic.
He is. When you first described that, I pictured him, I don't know why, like 400 feet in the air. And it's like, well, you don't know like what he could see and what he couldn't. That dude is like 30 feet in the air.
Yeah.
Like he is not unable to see that dead body.
He's
that
watching
dead body. He's
you guys
watching
know what
the
people are
dead
saying,
body.
right?
What?
So I think you both are like, damn, this Travis Scott guy, real piece of shit. The internet has taken a different view of this.
Go on.
There's something fishy here. This Travis Scott guy is into demonic forces. He was doing a ritual. There are a lot. Look at the comments of that video right there. There are a lot of people who believe that Travis Scott.
I read all about that. That was like taking that was like staring into the abyss and feeling the abyss staring back into me. Where like it wasn't enough to be like, yeah, this guy's an absolute garbage person who watched people die, who encouraged people to break in and make this more dangerous for people who bought tickets. But people going like, there were 8 flames on the stage and 8 people died. There are 9 now. Shut up. That doesn't count. That doesn't
All right,
count.
but it was creepy.
And the tunnel was meant to make people feel like they were in hell. And it said, see you on the other side. He clearly meant to say, see you on the other side, dead person. And it's like, no, that you don't need to go a million miles just to achieve your point. I don't think he's like worshiping the devil.
I prefer it if he is. I think what I wonder is like,
It'd be funny if it
what's
came
going
out
to
he
happen
was.
to him. I wonder how culpable he is for all of this. I'm
Just a
imagining that
a little background thing for you, Kyle, before you go into it. He also got in trouble for encouraging a fan to jump off of a really high bit of scaffolding in a 2017 show, screaming for him to do it. The guy did it. He's paralyzed. He's encouraged people to rage. He one of his things is like, I want wild people there. I want them and it's not like moshing like at a metal concert where like someone falls and like some guy in a Harley Davidson jacket goes like, get that lady up. Like, no, it's like people trying to harm each other, it seems like, in some of these raging incidents.
Well, you know what? I would avoid those concerts as a intelligent human being, the same way I avoid a lot of dangerous scenarios.
Mhm.
And I'm not sure how I feel about people who chose to do an extreme activity.
This
Which
leads to my next topic.
Yeah. I mean, if anything ever happens to Woody, we're all going to feel bad. But it's like we're going to
Saw
look
it
at each other and
coming.
shrug and be like, I mean, how many times did we talk about this?
Do you think that I think that Travis Scott is in himself culpable for a lot of this because of what he curated, what he encouraged, telling thousands of people to break in, like as if that's not dangerous enough, like just to be edgy, just to be wild. So like, yeah, he clearly is culpable for this. He immediately refunded all 50,000 people who paid for it because he knows that's going to be a thing. Like, what venues are going to let this guy play?
Oh, I would want him so bad. I would definitely want him at my venue. If
You
it's
think so?
insured, who fucking cares? Yeah, because yeah.
What are the
absolutely.
insurance rates going to be for the guy who had 9 people die at a show?
I mean, get a quote. Let's find out because I bet it's gonna be fucking sold out. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, let's fucking find out. Do we need to like? I mean, I get it's merch involved. Do we need to take another percentage of that? Like, but we can get a Travis Scott concert. I'd have a Travis Scott concert. Look, if you go, you know what you're getting into. You know what you're getting into when you go there.
Really, because like apparently he appeals to like people in their teens, early 20s. They buy a ticket and then thousands of people rush in. It's overcrowded. Crowd management's horrible. There's this one video of this black guy who was at the show and he's like telling his experience and he's like, I don't think he's acting. He seems legit torn up about it. He's like, I was down there and I don't want to exaggerate, but it felt like I was in hell. Like you're moving, there's a writhing mass of bodies. You can't lift your arms, you can't move. Like you're like pushing out so you can get your lungs to expand enough. You're breathing the hot air of other people's exhales, and meanwhile people are screaming and no one's stopping. Like there's the clip
Imagine
where all those
midget.
people are fucking knocked down, and then everybody's like, "Stop this show! Stop this show!" And Travis Scott's like, all right, next song is like, are you kidding me, dude?
Now we're gonna do a song I call Yeah.
Yeah, I call it Yeah. Bring out that guy and marionette him around for me. I get off to dead people. Yeah, it's pretty fucked up. A 9-year-old died.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. The tweet's interesting too. It seems like I don't know. It seems like it should be on the security, right? It seems like it was their job to make sure that like people didn't come in. I mean, I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out. I think he's more likely to be in trouble in some sort of civil suit than he is to be charged with something.
Sure. Yeah, that
Because he's culpable, but I don't know if he's guilty of anything. He's culpable of a lot. I don't know if he's guilty of anything.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair. I mean, he's guilty in a moral sense of intentionally creating a situation in which people are likely to be harmed.
What was that word?
That? What?
The M one.
I don't know.
Oh.
Moral?
Yeah,
What?
moral. Oh,
Like a mural?
Yeah, like ethics.
Like a mural?
You know how ethics work, you fucking psychopath.
No,
Anyways,
he's in trouble. He's in trouble there one way or the other. Yeah. And I can't believe he didn't stop it. It almost seems like he gets off on seeing people get fucked up. give him the benefit of the doubt, though. It's not like he's got an EKG machine up there in that cherry picker. He didn't know the guy was dead. For all he knows, the guy's unconscious or something. They weren't like, he's dead.
He did give a quote. Let me try and find it, where he said that he likes seeing blood at his shows.
All right. I mean, I don't like that tweet.
It's hard to defend that one in the
That's
context
what you
of
call
this
a
conversation.
That's what you call a bad tweet.
What is it? Is it this one? Yeah. He said he talks about his desire to see bodies / blood when he's performing, but not his, obviously. So someone else.
He never crowd surfs.
He seems like a fucking ghoul. Oh no, he did crowd surf. He crowd surfed. You know when he did stop a show? He stopped a show when he was crowd surfing and he lost one of his shoes, and he told the crowd to beat up the guy who had his shoe. He stopped the entire show then for the shoe, but not for this. So this guy is garbage. He's
Somebody
a piece
pulled
of
his
shit.
shoe off.
Yeah,
You know-
or they didn't. It's fucking crowd surfing. You don't know.
I bet I guarantee.
I bet someone did pull his shoe off.
Because I was watching. I don't want to shift
you don't
topics. just
sick
yet,
people
which
on
was- Yeah, it's fucking wild. 9 people you say are dead now. Do we?
Yeah,
you don't know the ages roughly. Were there any children or
it
old
was
people?
yeah. The youngest was 9 to 27. I think were the ages at last count. And like watching the videos, it seems remarkable that only 9 people died.
Did you hear
I want to know
one
where
of
the
the
9-year-old's
guys died
parent
saving
is.
his fiance?
Yeah, I did hear about that. That's horrible.
Yeah, but
was
it's
a
also
mistake.
literal hero shit. Like he
I bet
gave his
she
own
wanted
life
to go to
save
the
it.
show.
She's a little beaten and bruised up, but I guess he was successful in that he saved her.
Oh, that's so sad.
Well, good for her.
Eventually, Vito said they pull all the lunatics into the Netflix HQ. All this is at Netflix HQ, which is the most upsetting to me because Netflix said, yeah, we absolutely want this. We want this walkout. It's a walkout for Netflix employees to come out and protest their biggest product of the day, and then to attract as many malcontents and psychopaths in the area to come congregate on their property and cause mayhem, and to oversee this boiling this potential chaotic moment. They have their 2 smallest security guards who've borrowed their uncle's suit to show up, like Juan and Paco. They're Juan and Dos in like suits that are going down by their arms, going like, "Excuse me, sir, can you not stand on the plane?" Okay, and they just go back off. Like, this is fucking chaos. So Vito takes his sign. Did you guys see what happened to Vito's sign?
I did see them tear it off. Yeah. Right?
Oh yeah, no, you got to watch that. You got to watch that.
I did see.
Okay.
So they tore off his sign and then they claimed it was a weapon, right?
Yeah. So Vito has his sign, and then this dude, this guy Joe Cristalli, who's a showrunner for the new Frasier reboot, like the one show that we needed to reboot, Frasier. He comes over and grabs Vito's sign and tears it away from him, or grabs it, pulls it down, smashes his sign, leaving Vito with only the stick. Like, Vito's not a big guy. I mean, he's fat, but he's not like muscular. So he's there holding a stick going, "Oh, you smashed my sign." And the guy goes, "He's got a weapon." And then walks away. It's like, bro, it's like you can't scream, "He's got a weapon" at a trans protest with a bunch of fucking guys, Antifa guys that are like mad dogging you and swinging their bike locks like they're in the Warriors, like ready to rumble at any moment. Like, you can't say he's got a weapon. And there's all the cops that are on. Yeah, they're like, all the cops are on bikes in the middle of the street. Like, I know that you know what you're doing, but whatever. So Vito's standing there. If you haven't watched the video, you got to watch it. There's this woman with a tambourine, like screaming, "Repent, motherfucker! Repent, motherfucker!" right in his face, and he can't move because the protesters, they get around you, like they stand there and they put their arms around you like they're hugging a tree, and they're like, "I'm not touching you, but if you touch me, then we're gonna have a serious problem." You're like, well, I can't fucking move. Like, I don't know why you think what you're doing is legal, but it's not. Like, it's not like it's like
Very
the
mild
Simpson, you know.
kidnapping.
Yeah, like I can't move. Like, okay, well, I don't know how to get out of this. So we're goofing.
Why don't you
We're
just
goofing
slink down. Why don't you-
Then they win though.
Then he's trying to like juke out of them and like spin to get around.
You just in that situation, you just have to attack that person with everything you have. You
just punch them, right?
Just
and have your life ruined.
I mean, you're already in a pretty good position to like grab them in a body, like just slam them on their fucking head on the ground, right? Like,
yeah.
Like
well, if
he's
you
just-
fall
he's
over,
putting
I
his
think they're
elbows up
falling
and saying,
too.
"Hurt me."
Oh, if Dick does that to someone, 2 seconds until there's articles. Local white supremacist.
Yeah, house is gone. Everything is gone.
Justice protester at Netflix.
So were you attacked by the?
Yeah. So I thought it would be really funny when they're like smashing Vito's sign and going like, we fucking killed jokes. We fucking killed jokes at this fucking idiot. I thought it'd be so funny to just take my sign and like go behind him. You know, so if anybody's recording it, they would see this awful display and then see like the Muppets, like a guy going like boop 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 behind with the exact same sign. So I get behind there. I have the video. We played it on my show. And I don't know. There's a picture too. The New York Times has a good picture of me getting shoved, of my head getting shoved into this concrete thing. This guy, the same guy, Joe Crisali, comes over and tries to grab my sign out of the way because I'm holding it up, and like they're trying to disguise my sign with their signs, but I got that big old Home Depot stick, so I'm going way like, oh no, I got a fucking 9-foot stick, you idiots! You cannot cover my jokes are funny sign. So Joe comes over and like I'm like this with my sign just standing there. And he kind of comes in and starts twerking on me, right? Like he slides in and thinks he's being sneaky and grabs my side and gives it a yank. And I'm like, no, buddy, this is not like you little noodly arm. You're not smashing my sign. I worked hard on this sign for like 10 minutes. I'm not gonna, go away. I'm not. You already smashed that guy's sign. You're not smashing my sign. So I hold it. So then he grabs it with both hands. He's like, like trying to take it. And what do you probably know the feeling of a kid trying to rip something out of your hands?
Sure.
Like it's just fun. Like you can't stop laughing. It's like, what are you doing? Like, this is my thing. Why are you trying to rip my thing out? So I grab my sign and I go, oh, this guy's trying to take my sign. This guy's trying to, like, I started screaming. Because it's funny because it's so stupid. I'm like, bro, you're embarrassing yourself. This guy's trying to take my sign. So then I see this fucking little Smurf, this Antifa Smurf guy who he's all yoked up. He's a little guy, but he's all yoked, just fucking staring at me, right? Like staring with his blue baklava. And then I realized like, oh, fuck. All right, here we go. So I started screaming, this guy's attacking me, this guy's attacking me, this guy's attacking me. And the next thing I know, Joe pulls me away. So I'm kind of like, I'm still holding my sign. The whole time in the video, I have both hands on my sign. Because I'm not going to, I'm there with a "we like fucking jokes" sign. I'm not there to play homoerotic punch up with a bunch of guys who don't have dads, right? So I'm holding this sign, and this fucking guy comes over and takes a running start and shoves me. It's very violent too if you watch it. Shoves me against a planter, and then I kind of don't remember the rest, but you can see it on video. Then shoves my head into one of those stupid concrete balls that they have in front of Target. You know?
Yeah.
They're like enameled concrete. So I remember the hit. Like I saw him shoving me, and I thought, well, all right, this is all right. Just try to stay up. And I remember getting hit in a really fucked, like surprising place. So I thought maybe somebody cranked me with a bike lock or something, because like you're not used to getting hit so hard while you're standing up, right? Like if you're falling down, you're kind of braced for it, but this was just like crack, like oh god, fuck.
Most things that hit in general have some give to them. This has no give. It's a special kind of hard.
Yeah, so I'm all, you can see it on the video too. I'm all disoriented and like standing up and trying to figure out who's got the bike lock, because I'm like, all right, well, whoever the bike lock might have a knife or something, so I got to find, like, I'm in danger of being murdered now because these people are just, they're fucking crazy, the people that show up there. And I'm looking around. I'm saying that he hit me in case so someone can record him and get him. And I shit you not, out of nowhere, this little broad appears and says, "I know this guy. He's got a rape list." I
said, have raped people you want to rape?
Said, you got to be fucking kidding me. That was Maddox. That was the thing in his video that he did like 7 years ago to get me kicked out of comedy. He said that I ran a rape list because some guys on 4chan made a. They put like Hillary Clinton on a list of women they wanted to rape, and he goes, "That's his rape list." And I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. The fucking rape list is coming. I'm going to get killed because of Maddox's fucking rape list right now.
Yeah, you got recognized. Like, oh, yeah, that's the rape list guy. Leave him alone.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that was worse. It was worse that he's got a weapon. Like, he's got a rape list. I'm like, oh, no. Now,
but, like, if I'm in that crowd, though, and I hear, that guy's got a rape list, I'm like, the fuck is a rape list?
what does that mean? Is that like a list of conquests? Is it?
No one knows.
Plans?
Is that bad? Oh, the Rittenhouse verdict. That's what I want to talk about.
That's
I don't really care about the bet as much as just I knew it was about something I wanted to talk about. So yeah, Kyle Rittenhouse, innocent of all charges. I watched a small amount of the coverage, like maybe like 10 minutes, but I think the 10 minutes I watched were like pertinent 10 minutes. Like I saw when the jury had to be removed, and I saw the prosecutor being scolded by the judge and all that stuff, and they broke all that down. Seems like he was innocent of the charges that they charged him with, and it was pretty interesting. It always is, I think, to see like someone's reaction when they get that not guilty verdict. Like he collapsed, he was having a meltdown, and then I saw him smiling in the car leaving. That was great. I love seeing that. That was pretty funny.
That's going to be memeable for a while.
I tend to line up with like the official answer sometimes. Like, I don't know, I guess I'm wired like that. And the way I see it, he engaged this guy. He ran from the guy. And because of that, it was self-defense. The guy was chasing him. Who knows what happens if the guy catches him? Takes his gun and does something terrible. It's not going to go well for him. Maybe he catches a beating, but so because he ran away, I felt like he had a pretty valid self-defense claim. And then the next two were almost super valid. Like they were all attacking him. And once the first one's valid, the next two are.
I saw where they got that one guy to admit, the one who had the pistol.
Yeah.
Like they're like, so when he shot you, you had your handgun pointed at his head. Is that like something like that? And he's like, well, yeah.
Yeah. I always thought the next two were just a downstream effect of the first one.
I can't believe that the prosecution would even want. I guess they can't stop him. I mean, no, he had to be a witness for the prosecution. This guy who had a gun, like wasn't he also the child molester?
No, I don't think the first one was the child molester.
The dead guy.
Yeah, the first one of the
first
dead
one's
guys.
dead.
The other dead
he's
one was a
child
wife beater or
molester.
something.
One was and I think the one that got shot in the arm maybe wasn't a bad guy. He was a felon who had a weapon. Yeah.
I remember at one point them say, because I remember at some point they were like, and then there's that they had put the jury out of the room, and they were like, and then there's the other issue that we obviously cannot discuss with the prior record, and it's just like, and it's like, oh my god, they got so much shit going on here. Like if the jury was allowed to know any of this stuff, they'd be like, wait a minute, y'all got a child molester and a felon chasing that little boy?
The news said he was a white supremacist.
In terms of
God damn, are we voting for metal?
Stuff, that's relevant. When Kyle was making his decisions on shoot or no shoot, is it self-defense? Like whether or not that guy, the first one, spent most of his adult life in jail because of I'm saying pedo stuff. I don't know how young they were, but I think they were pretty young. I think pedo might be an actual
They were like children. Yeah. Like under 11. Between the ages of 9 and 11, there were 5 different instances, I believe.
That lines up with my memory. Yeah. So like, and that guy spent most of his adult life in jail because of that stuff. And then he comes out and now he's attacking Rittenhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
he was awful.
You just wish that I feel like I'm gonna get if I'm Kyle Rittenhouse, I'm making little paper planes, like throwing them at the jury. like
he molested children.
Yeah. So he got off on everything. It does feel kind of yucky. Like a couple weeks beforehand, he's on video saying he wanted to shoot shoplifters. All right, we don't love shoplifters, but also it's not an appropriate punishment for stealing condoms and lipstick, right?
In what he said, like I think, and he said this too. He said something like, "I wish I had my rifle because they're stealing," or something like that, right? I heard him say something like that. Yeah,
but he didn't go and shoot shoplifters and thieves.
But it goes to
self-defense.
We're talking about his mindset, and then he goes to this protest with the gun. I feel like he went there with a, you know what? I wish a motherfucker would kind of attitude.
You could say that about Superman. He's always got those laser eyes. He shows up where he knows crimes might be committed. I mean, it's almost premeditated if you think about it. If he lasers somebody.
It's kind of a good counter argument. Like
Kyle Rittenhouse is a modern day Batman. He's not the hero we need, or the
Not
hero
even
we
a billionaire
deserve.
yet.
But he is a hero.
I mean,
what do you know?
It's funny.
What do you know?
I do like where you're coming from.
He's-
Like I'm
he's struggling
open-minded
with
to
this.
this
It
idea.
makes too much sense.
He went there looking for trouble.
The guy who ran down all those people in the parade.
Oh yeah.
What is his name?
That
I don't
black
remember
fella.
his name. Yeah, and there are so many like desperate like blue checks I've seen on Twitter being like, "There's nothing to indicate that he's not a MAGA person. He's a, he's what are you saying? He likes BLM." And it's like, yeah, like look at a lot of his posts. I saw something wild, and I looked to confirm if it's real, but like it was like a black nationalist post, and it was like one of those like fake quotes with Hitler on it, and Hitler is on this thing, and it's a long paragraph, and it's about this fictitious monologue of Hitler being like, "The true Jews are the blacks that were stolen from Africa and America. And these white Jews are trying to pretend to be God's chosen. And they're dangerous because they are not the true Hebrews and Israelites." And it's like, I am not a historian, but Hitler did not say that. there's no, wouldn't he have been furious at black Americans if that was like
yeah, probably. I looked into the dude, the Waukesha Christmas parade attack guy. Apparently, he had just left a domestic dispute, was having a really bad day, was kind of insane, and willing to run people over with his car. There's no politics angle at this thing.
Well, nobody said he had a bad day. I mean, shit.
He had a
We've
bad
all
day,
been there.
Yeah.
How many people died? How many people died?
5 so far.
Oh, come on. That's
Can you imagine if a white guy drove intentionally through 50 black people in a parade?
Well, hang on, Taylor. We haven't heard how his day was going.
We haven't heard how his day is going.
Taylor,
Yeah.
be open-minded on this. Come on.
Oh yeah, it's funny when like it doesn't go against the narrative. It's like there's no way to know anything. We don't know what his motivation. We don't even know what he believes. It's all in the ether. And then it's like, oh, this other guy, yeah, he's a white nationalist. He's a Nazi.
Oh, you talking about Rittenhouse now?
Yeah, I was saying like the comparison in narratives and how there's
he
just
was
this ethereal, who knows?
anti-BLM riot. So
No, he was at a BLM.
You'd have to make it. Yeah. Well, he was there to stop the BLM people from misbehaving, right?
He said he was pro BLM.
He did.
Did he?
He was pro BLM.
Oh, I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, that's why he only shoots whites.
You're making a lot of sense.
Yeah, he's like, you guys been reading me wrong the whole time. Let's tear this shit down.
And I got them because they weren't going hard enough.
They were traitors to the cause.
I wanted to burn down the police station and they're fucking around with Corollas. You know
how long I've been undercover.
Did you see Alec Baldwin came out today and said, "I didn't even pull the trigger on that gun.
Yeah,
I just fired." And it's like, dude, everyone understands this to be an accident, and we know how guns work. Maybe your Hollywood friends don't, but you pulled the trigger. Like, just say you did it, and you were joking. You were doing a jokey trigger pull. Like,
I've never heard of a gun, quote unquote, just going off.
It doesn't happen.
What about on drops? Have you ever heard
I've
of it?
heard of it, mostly in the case of single action revolvers that are older
and already cocked.
Yes.
This was not one of those.
He didn't drop the gun. Is the real thing. I've just never heard of one that's like in a hand or on a table, just going bang. Like I'm sure it's happened. Like,
it just seems like a stupid lie to tell. Like, it seems like maybe I'm disconnected, but it seems like most people are like, yeah, this was a tragic accident. Like, you obviously didn't mean to murder someone. Like, it was an accidental killing. Just say you pulled the trigger in a joke.
Yeah, the lie is silly for him to tell because now I'm sitting here like,
what the fuck?
Trigger on purpose? Like, why is he telling me? Why is he lying about what happened?
I thought for some reason, the original story was he was doing a cross draw that he wasn't familiar with. Like he's done this before, but he's never done this. Yeah. And he wanted to practice. And dude, you pulled the trigger. That's why guns go off.
Yeah,
that 100%
of the time.
If he had just said, "Look, I was practicing my cross draw," I'm not like. I thought the gun was safe. It was supposed.
I've heard of a gun going off by itself. Oh. Here's the scenario, though. It's a stupid scenario that doesn't happen. My dad had his trigger modified by someone that didn't know what they were doing, and they made it too sensitive. It was so sensitive that, in fact, when the rifle was hammer back, it's a bolt action rifle, so that just means you just close the bolt. That's what pulls the hammer back. If he closed the bolt outside of the truck in the cold of the morning, and then he got back into the truck, he sat the rifle across his lap, barrel pointed toward the door, chambered, safety off, because he's still overlooking the field. That's legal to do as long as you're parked in the field.
Yeah.
And he's just warming up. The truck heater warms the rifle's internals enough that the internals expand as steel does, as everything does when it's heated. And it goes the fuck off in the truck. Because he has his window down smoking a cigarette, it shoots into the truck door, shatters the window, glass shoots up out of the crack, and he's just sitting there like, the fuck?
Okay, well that is due to an insanely incompetent gunsmith.
Yeah.
And I've never heard of that happening ever.
Never.
Like, the only time that people drop a gun, I'm sitting here racking my brain,
like have I ever heard of a gun going off? That's the one time.
Because in movies, like, someone will drop a Glock 19 and it'll fire. It's like, well, that doesn't make any mechanical sense.
It happens in Sopranos when they're robbing the truck. One of the guys drops his pistol and takes out the friendly guy. Yeah, it's a whole thing. No, they don't do that. To my knowledge, like, I'm sure. Look, maybe it's happened. I'm just saying I've never seen it and I've never heard anyone talk about it ever happening.
Yeah. So
Alex killed that guy, but it was an accident. He shouldn't be liable or culpable or anything.
No, the gunsmith or whatever that's called, the person in charge of that should get in trouble, not the actor who was handed a live round.
That chunky blonde lady who clearly didn't know what the fuck she was doing.
You have, I'll say, a touch more experience with federal prison than Kyle, and by that I mean about 30 times as much. So, can you break down like what landed you there and the surrounding situation? Because it's a fascinating. It's fascinating.
Yeah, it definitely is fascinating. That's one of the many colorful adjectives we can use for it. Glad to be here, guys. I know that it did take a while, and I appreciate everybody that shouted out repeatedly trying to get me on. Yes, I did. I did go to prison for a little bit longer than Kyle, although we were both at Talladega, just separated by a few razor wires.
Yeah.
Long story short, let me see how I've explained this in the past. I've given the rundown a few times. In 2012, I was playing an online video game known as RuneScape. It was one of my favorite games from age 2004 until I just logged off of it an hour ago. And I was very, very drunk playing with a friend of mine named Anthony that was trying to download me to convince me to download a game making light of a school shooting that happened in 1999.
How old are you?
I was 19 years old at the time, I meant to say. So I was about to say that I was drunk. It wasn't legal already in and of itself because I was 19.
So you began the night by committing a crime.
I was already doing it big. I was
victimless crime.
Yeah, the victimless crime. Not to the FBI. I did not think that the video game was very funny. I did Google it. I looked it up. I did not download it. The FBI said I downloaded it. We later had to actually make a point in court to get them to take it off the record that I downloaded it because I did not, even though the judge shrugged and said he didn't know what download meant anyway. He said, you can win on that point. I don't know what download means.
That's a horrible thing to run into in the middle of an internet crime. I don't understand the downloads.
It means I had no possession of this game. It means I looked through the window of a store at it and walked away.
Exactly.
Well
It's
phrased.
the digital equivalent. That's very, very well phrased. I wish I would have thought to say that instead of saying,
I'm going to jail.
yeah, if I would have been, in a little bit of a better mindset, maybe I could have explained it better. But anyways, me being drunk and in those days, admittedly being a little bit more hairy on the neck, if you will, I decided that a third party busted in and told me I was a dumbass for discussing this particular massacre at all, for even mentioning the name of it, and encouraged me to call him on the phone and end my life with him on the phone. Now, if I'm not mistaken, that's a crime, but I don't think this guy got in trouble because my drunk ass decided, I said, I love that particular school shooting. Man, I'm obsessed with it. I'm going to do it myself. Ha, 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 ha. Motherfucker, I'm just kidding. Or I said I'm being sarcastic, and I had the long transcript. I just recently moved to New Orleans, and my paperwork's all put up. But I have the long transcript where I actually said it's called sarcasm. Nonetheless, 4 days later, I also said some things that school can be gravel if I have anything to say about it. That word gravel becoming very important when it went before the grand jury because that constitutes – exactly. It constitutes a bomb threat, which gave me a new charge separate from the other one. 4 days later, the bomb squad, the FBI, the SWAT team, and the boys all showed up at my house, the helicopter in the sky, the bomb-sniffing dogs that I didn't know existed on October 8th of 2012, that was, and came and got me out of my mom's house with a whole lot of empty bottles of alcohol because I was not doing too great in life. And due to the fact that I was a bit of a slacker who preferred a bit of the drink and the smoke to working a good job, a big example was made out of me, and I ended up ultimately being sentenced to 6 years in federal prison, most of which I served at medium-high securities, excluding a violation of probation that sent me back.
That is wild. And I'm assuming like the long or the length of your sentence, you say that was tied to gravel, like the bomb aspect of it.
Right. It was poignant that I received 6 years because 5 years was the maximum statutory sentence for one of the two charges. The charges that I was faced with were transmitting threats in interstate and foreign commerce, transmitting threats to kill and injure the person of another, which has a statutory maximum of 5 years. Now, the day before jury deliberation, when I had my lawyer came to me and said, you're either going to plead out today or you're going to take to this court and get 15 years. It's your last chance. You better plead out. I pled out to the more serious charge of transmitting threats to destroy buildings by means of fire and explosives, which I could not have even gotten 6 years for if that was the one that I would have pled out to.
As it was occurring and everything's unfolding, was there a certain point were you like afraid of going to prison the whole time, or in the beginning were you like, this is bullshit, it's obviously a joke? Was there a moment where you're like, oh no, this is real?
Yeah, the moment where I started realizing that I might be in over my head, even though I'd already been to court multiple times at this point, was 2 months later, a little over 2 months later, when the Newtown Sandy Hook massacre happened, and that was all over TV. And that was when I was like, that is very sad to begin with, but also unfortunate timing for me.
And so you fired up RuneScape, and you got ready for a little trolling.
Yeah, I was already in jail when the Sandy Hook happened. I was sitting in a jail cell with a bunch of other dudes just watching on TV as this unfolded, like, oh, they are really going to want a scapegoat for this. And a lot of people have referred to me as the RuneScape goat, of course, for taking the hit while playing RuneScape. Okay, so the trial, I didn't really technically have a trial because I did end up pleading guilty. A lot of people say, oh, he pled guilty, he must be guilty or whatever, but I don't think they're aware of how the legal system really works, especially with the feds. Kyle, as you know, they've got a good 98, 99% conviction rate, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Damn.
They don't miss.
I had to plead to 2 counts. I only did one of them.
Yep, exactly. Like,
yeah,
pretty much taking a plea deal. If you defend yourself and you're still found guilty, which you ultimately will be in 90+% of cases, you're just going to get a lot more time for it.
And I remember there's a point during sentencing where they're reading this thing out, and maybe the judge is even reading it out, and he's like, do you like, you're basically swearing that you are guilty.
Right.
Like, which one did you think you were innocent of, Kyle?
Distribution, for sure. Like,
so you got hit with a distribution charge.
Yeah.
Not
Can I jump in?
Intent to distribute.
I thought distribution could be described as like sharing it with a girlfriend.
That's how they described it.
Which you were guilty of.
Yeah, but that's nonsense. Like if we'd taken that and argued it in like an open court, like that
Did they
would
prove that you gave her some or whoever?
There was a text message where like invited her over to do. The point is, I don't think the judge asked. He's like, all right, so there's the possession, but I don't understand the intent. And they're like, well, there was a message where he asked his girlfriend if she wanted to smoke the marijuana with him, and he's like, that's not intent to distribute.
I wouldn't think it would meet the.
And she's like, he thinks it is, and I'm like, yeah, I guess I do. Like that's
too late
how
now.
it went down. And there was the point where it's like, do you swear that you're guilty of the things you say you're guilty of? And I'm thinking like, God, I hope they don't hit me with a perjury charge because I didn't do this shit.
Yeah.
What was the one you
out
felt
you were
like
lying? You were
guilty
innocent of one of these that you pled guilty to. So contempt.
Possession.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I had the shit in my pocket, walking out of the post office when they grabbed me. So
Does that inform me that basketball shorts were invoked in your sentencing at some point?
Yeah, because I was wearing shorts, that meant that that was proof that I was heading straight back to my home because there's no way. They made it sound like I was in my underwear or like a robe.
Like you were in a robe.
Like I was in a robe I was like running out to the mailbox or something or getting the paper and obviously this guy. See, that's what that law or that idea would be meant for. The guy in his robe at the end of the driveway who's picking up a package and clearly taking it back into his house. Yeah. I'm down the road at a post office, like in my fucking car, like I was wearing shorts,
basketball shorts that people wear all
hot.
the time.
It was August.
Were they basketball shorts, Kyle? You always
Yeah.
just said shorts. Okay.
Yeah. Just basketball shorts and like a t-shirt or something.
And that's evidence that you were going straight home to smoke the marijuanas.
Yeah, so that's what got him the into the house or whatever. But all that got like knocked out. That's why things went federal. But
that's supposed to be First Amendment that you can wear whatever the flying fuck you want to wear without it being held against you. But
that whole thing was nonsense. But your thing is even more nonsense.
We talked about it like 2 years ago when it happened, that Juicy Smollett case.
Oh yeah, it's coming up.
The guy, it ended today. Yeah,
So the guy that faked like he got attacked by a hate crime?
he was the guy that pretended that like a bunch of people in the city of Chicago went up to him
during
and
the polar vortex
and said during the polar vortex, and they were just walking around with nooses and bleach going, "This is MAGA country," wildly inaccurate walking through downtown Chicago.
It is downtown Chicago.
That is not MAGA country, my friends.
That is not MAGA country.
But so basically, I think he was found guilty or pled guilty to 5 of the 6 charges against him of like, what was it?
The headline says
felony,
lying to police.
Yeah, felony disorderly conduct. And I saw something else that, like, you remember when people were like, yeah, this guy was probably, this is back when it happened. They're like, oh, he was probably like fucking those Nigerian jacked dudes because he's gay. And then he admitted, he was like, yeah, the day before we did like a dry rehearsal, and then me and Magumbe or whatever went back to my apartment and we both beat off together. And so it was like they had a nice like
in the
group,
deposition
because it establishes they had a relationship before that, that they beat off together.
I didn't need those details of the relationship.
I needed them. Little pregame jerk.
A little bit of like raising your spirits before you attempt to fake hate crime.
Can you imagine, Taylor, if you and I masturbated the night before we committed a crime, how close and bonded we'd be?
Yeah. And then we went to like middle Missouri and put you in blackface and you were like, this is Obama country. And you like assaulted me. And I was like, oh, lordy, and I have a Subway in my hand.
Yeah. My gas station sells Delta 8, but the people who go there sell weed. So you can get whatever you want. Like that parking lot, every time I fuel up, I'm like, I mean, are they smoking it here? Like they're literally smoking weed at the gas station. It's a little rough.
There's a real mix at my gas. There's like soccer moms next to people who've been to prison.
Nice. Well, hey.
My bad. I'm sorry.
We ex-cons are a very sensitive group of people, and when you marginalize us that way, especially in front of such a large audience like this, it's.
I didn't think about what I was.
Well, I vote that it's not inappropriate. What do you vote, Kyle? You can't vote.
I know. I know they sent me a letter. They sent me a letter letting me know I shouldn't. It's a crime now.
It's a crime. No more votes. I'm never voting again in solidarity.
But for real though, if I were to go like vote, like I think it's a serious fucking crime. Like I think I would like actually go back to prison.
Who was the first unbelievable get that SNL comedian bone?
Oh, Ariana Grande.
That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, the girl who's whatever race she needs to be this week.
I don't know.
She's amazing looking.
And talented.
She's over 18, right?
Have you ever seen her? She's got one of those like pedo faces, but yeah, she's over.
She has a pedo face.
Yeah. Pedos love it.
Makes
Find
it
out
sound
why
like
at 9.
you make it sound like she's a pedo.
No, well, I mean, she might be. I don't know her. But she's super talented. Like she can sing in the like the style of like half a dozen famous artists. I heard her do it like Dolly Parton, Whitney Houston.
She did it as an SNL bit, right?
Yeah,
Where they
yeah.
pretended the radio was out.
Yeah, and I've heard her do it on like morning shows. Like
who's the boyfriend she used to have? Pete Davidson? Is it?
Yeah,
that right?
Butthole Eyes. Yeah, from SNL.
Dude, he's been dating Ariana Grande and Kim Kardashian in the same life.
Yeah, he goes.
You gotta tip your hat to him.
Yeah, I wish my dad had died in 9/11. That's got to be it. What else could it be?
Yeah,
tell your dad.
God's just serving him up W's.
My dad was in a field somewhere in Georgia instead of on the 115th floor where he should have been to get me laid in this hard time.
What'd you say?
I don't get the appeal of Pete Davidson. I never really understood it. But
He must have a good
it must be
personality.
if he's messing with the girls you just said, it must be a thing where girls like him.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting at. Like, it must be the 9/11 story because I don't know. I don't think he's a bad looking guy, but he does have his butthole eyes that creep me out.
You were so harsh on his.
They look like buttholes. His eyes look like buttholes.
Can we get a picture?
And I've had
of
eye
Pete
surgery.
Davidson?
I was saying I didn't realize you were going. I was saying the reason since I don't get him, it must be that girls like him. Sometimes girls like shit that I don't get. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they have bad taste.
But it was funny. You were like, "Yeah, it must be the 9/11 thing." I was like, "I wasn't saying that."
Oh, no, that's how I heard it.
Wax co-signing.
He just looks sleepy.
It looks like he's in the middle of biting his lip.
He might
You know,
be in
like
that
when you get a
picture.
bad one. Or it's just very unflattering still of
I
him.
think part of
maybe.
his face is paralyzed.
He does look exhausted.
He looks so tired all the time.
If
Like,
I could
he
not
looks
tell
like
you
he's halfway to doing his zombie cosplay.
I couldn't tell you like what his
Christ.
yeah he does. He looks like he got bit by a zombie 2 minutes of screen time ago in a film, and they're trying to decide what to do with him. Do we lock him outside? Do we kill him?
Look, did you see him? I don't know what Amy's doing.
Look at those
making out
teeth.
with
He's
him.
gonna be a really dangerous zombie.
Amy's over there making out with him, and he's already starting to smell like rotten meat. I don't get it.
Yes, that's what he looks like when like in the side when everybody's like organizing the barriers. He like pulls up his sleeve and there's a bite mark.
Sticky
and then
bite.
he pulls it back down, not to tell anyone. You okay, Pete?
Just starting
fine.
with brains, like think of brains as being a food. Just
Yeah.
barely getting that. Hank.
All right, it's me, but it's so fucking.
I've never
He
seen
doesn't care.
anything
fucking
he's
Kim Kardashian
done.
in the ass.
Yeah.
He loves it when we call him butthole eyes.
I mean, all publicity is good publicity.
I don't think that's accurate.
I don't think it's accurate at all. Bill Cosby disagrees.
Yeah, I know a few people who would disagree. But yeah, I don't quite get it, but that's fine. Good for him. Kanye's fucking insane. So I could get it. It seems so weird to go from like Kanye to Pete Davidson, right? It seems like such polar opposites. I think they dislike each other tremendously because when Kanye was on the show, I think they didn't get along very well. They had a lot of problems.
I like to think this is all a revenge long game.
I mean, it
He
might
stole
be.
his wife.
I'm liking Pete Davidson more and more by the minute now. Woody's looking ripped,
looking choice.
looking like he's ready to step in and play Wolverine over there or something.
The ab
Off
definition.
the trail mix as
Yeah.
best I could. We know it sucks though. All the lighting that like shows your muscle striations make my face like 15 years older.
Well, you got to take the good with the bad.
I can't have it
No,
all.
you don't. Just learn how to light, motherfucker. All right, so you want one big light coming down, straight down, and you just get yourself a nice little floodlight come in from the
Wear a
bottom and fill
baseball
all that
hat.
up.
You're completely right. I could have done better, dude. Something about the no effort picture made it seem so I can't even see what is on the screen because my camera is broken. I have to use the macro camera, the like 0.5 one, so it's tiny. I had to like crop it to make it even visible for people, and I can't see what I look like. It's just a stand in front, do that sort of 1/8 sit up thing to make your abs go. First picture I take, what you get is what you get.
You look great.
Yeah,
great.
That's what I
Excellent.
look like right now.
I
What do
mean,
you
he's
think I am
just
right now?
gargantuan.
You saw the Twitter picture.
Oh, you're all ripped up, dude. You're like
I'm not that ripped up. I think it was
no,
you are.
lighting.
You're like 12, 13
You
maybe.
think?
Yeah, 12 or 13 probably. Like you're below you're below 14. Like you should
14,
go.
15 is what I had in my head.
You should go. It's like it's like less than
to
100,
get
more
that-
than 50.
What is it called? The kind of
DEXA,
test?
DEXA.
I don't
Takes
want to
10
know
minutes.
the truth.
You also get like that cool scan of your body and all this paperwork that comes with it, with like bone density and such, and like for all you know, like your bones could be like extra dense, and you're actually
They're gonna
like
come back and be like, you have 18% body fat and a below average penis.
Oh.
I'm gonna be like, God, dude, I was happier before the Texas stand.
Oh, I only signed up for one of those measurements.
She can see your dick pretty well in the DEXA scan. I'd always be like, oh. It's like, wow, you really could see a lot there, huh? She's like, yeah.
What do you wear?
Yeah.
Boxers or like you get naked?
Probably nothing.
No, none of those things. I would wear like sweatpants and like a tank top and take my shoes off. So that's all that really matters. You don't have to like strip down or anything. It goes through your clothes. You just don't want big like a coat on or something crazy like that.
Did you see that the lady who or the former cop that
mixed up the taser and the pistol?
It's anyone could make that mistake.
Anyone who's never touched a gun or a taser can make that mistake.
Well, to be fair, the tasers are very gun-like. The ones that they use now, they're supposed to have them on different parts of their body.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, like if you like Glocks are not made of like metal. You don't have like a shiny brand new 1911, right? Like these are they feel like almost like toys sometimes. If you've never actually touched a Glock before, you don't touch the slide or whatever, it can feel like a toy. And the tasers are the what?
But she said if you've never touched them, but she like I think you're making a strong point. If what had happened was like someone was like, "Hey, go grab that gun," and they were like, "In the box," and they're like, "Yeah, but don't show me. Now use it." Like if that had happened, but instead you got like a trained cop.
Yeah.
I feel bad for it because I always go back to my sexist viewpoint. Like maybe she shouldn't have been a fucking cop anyway, but it has nothing to do with her
Clearly
sex.
shouldn't have been a cop.
It has nothing to do with her sex. Like just watching that woman in court, like I didn't feel like she needed to be a cop. She didn't, if you can make that mistake, you shouldn't be a cop.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm tooting my own horn to say I wouldn't make that fucking mistake because I don't think any of us here would.
Mhm.
They weigh differently, they feel differently in your hand as long as you don't have gloves on.
They're
Like,
on
the
totally
balance is
different
different.
hips.
They're
I was gonna say,
different
the big
colors.
thing for the tasers is they're supposed to be on different parts of your body. Like the tasers are pulled from a different area than a firearm should be.
I mean, I've used both of those things. Like I've used that exact kind of taser and that exact kind of pistol, and they're just
Does anyone know how many rounds she fired? That would matter to like if she put 6
Oh.
rounds in him with the Glock.
I thought she just shot him once, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I watched her testimony, and she was just like, she acted like she had blanked out the relevant parts of her shooting this man, essentially. So
what happened? She's going to jail.
I think 2
5
counts of
years? Paid
guilt,
vacation.
two guilty counts, I think is what I heard, and I think it's manslaughter.
Okay.
Which is probably fair. I don't think like the murder charges imply a certain like intent. I think she just fucked up.
Yeah. Definitely. I don't
Negligent.
think
planning.
What's worse is manslaughter and like negligent homicide literally like the exact same thing. Like
I don't know.
I feel like she performed her job so negligently that another human being died and she's responsible for it. Whatever that is what she did. I don't think she meant to kill that guy though, because she did not seem happy with the the outcome.
Well, of course not.
Well,
She wants to
I
get
think
back
some
on the
people-
streets.
I'm sure plenty of cops have accidentally been like, "Oh, I accidentally shot him. Oh no!" I'm sure that's happened. I mean, $20 will send you to a real fun place.
Oh,
for a long time.
All night.
I want to say this. I was with subject matter experts, and they call it set and setting. I wish they called it mindset and setting because that's what they mean. But it's important that like you're having a good day and you're having a chill time and you're like wherever you are, it's okay if you go ×3 on it. If you're pissed off and that's where you start your mushrooms, and that's not a good time to do it. And then the setting, someplace safe, someplace
Walmart.
happy. In my case, it was camping. And it says get your set and setting right. Dude, do a low dose, especially if you're new. I did a low dose that you might consider a pussy dose, and I really had positive experience.
Yeah, you can't take pussy dose people seriously, where they're like, "Oh, you don't have a huge problem with mushrooms like me."
I ego dose my drugs, bro.
Yeah,
I ego dose.
that's why when I drink Everclear, no change. I want my stomach like lining burning through.
Yeah,
I didn't even get like that like feeling of euphoria you're talking about. I've only done mushrooms once also, and I don't know how much I took because it was my roommate freshman year of college who just gave me some off his desk. It was definitely a low dose, but like I don't remember feeling like joy or anything like that. I just remember like sitting there in our dorm. It was like a Tuesday night or something, and like I was watching It's Always Sunny, like season 2 or something on the DVDs he had. He introduced me to the show, and I just remember like sitting there and like the TV kind of breathing at me. Yeah. Like kind of moving towards me and pulsating, but like, and I thought it was going to get more intense than that. No, it was really like, okay, colors, maybe those are more vivid. Things are, if I focus on something, it starts to manipulate and breathe. I took what he gave me. I have no idea. I didn't even know like how it was dosed or anything. Yeah. I took mushrooms before. I had not smoked weed at that point in my life.
How did you take it? Like what?
I ate it. Like it was, it tasted rough.
Mine was on I think it was on a spoon, and I chased it with water. Like so, it was ground up to be almost dust, and I ate that off a spoon and then chased it with water.
His wasn't even ground up to like dust. It was like almost like you would mince an onion, like that size of it, and I just ate it and like
that's how I've had it.
Didn't even chew all of it.
He had a tool that would do that.
I started with whole mushrooms, and just
you're muted.
You're muted. Okay. Well, he started with whole mushrooms. You know that much.
The whole mushrooms, then chopped them up with a knife, and then just kind of like rolled them together in a somewhat ball that then starts like falling apart and growing, like doing that thing like when you Hall of Fame. But
when you put water on a straw paper.
Yeah.
Does acid taste like anything, or do you not even know?
I don't know.
So like I've only seen it on like the little tabs, the little pieces of paper. But like it's such a tiny piece of paper, like it's way smaller than you think. There's nothing in my world that is that small that I could compare it to.
That gives you that much. If you look at it the first time, it almost seems like you're getting like kind of pranked. Like you have a not microscopic, but a very, very, very tiny square paper, and then you put it on your tongue, and it almost
square.
Looks like
that's funny.
Square centimeter, maybe, but I don't think so. Maybe less.
When I didn't do it in high school, I've never done it, but it was described to me as the size of a postage stamp.
Oh no,
way smaller.
Like if you have a postage stamp, we've got enough for the party.
Yeah, postage stamp is like you've got like 20 hits of LSD there.
I wonder if it changed, or like maybe it's more pure now and it shrunk and it's like.
There's a whole story with like the production of LSD because like, and I'm no expert, but I want to say that this guy at one point made like 100 million fucking doses or something like that.
He was like the world provider of
for LSD. A long time. Like all the LSD in like the 70s or something was his LSD or whatever the story is. But it's a tiny little piece of paper. It's hard to just get one because you're just like two people are like pulling it opposite
not
ends.
That small. It's not like it's a.
My fingernails aren't precise enough to like carefully grab like this thing. It's so small.
How long is the come up? I know Destiny said it was like smooth, but is it like an hour after you take it?
I think
I knew an hour in, and I was like, I want more now. And they're like, well, let's wait a little more. I'm like, no, let's go ahead and start with 2 now. And then like every hour, I added another one.
Jeez.
Until I was out.
I think on LSD, I think you're peaking at around 3 hours, and then you peak maybe for like 30 minutes, and then you glide down based on your dosage. That would be like 1 tab about.
Yeah, it was. Okay. But the only like crazy stuff I saw was like everything breathed. You know, it did that sort of pulsating thing, and colors would sort of do this, I don't know, inversion kaleidoscope thing where like the center of the color would revert to the sort of shade that the perimeter was, and that would like revert back and forth, if that makes sense. Like rosy cheeks on a painting, like the edges of it were darker. And then the center was darker, and that would go back and forth if you stared at it. The clouds were fucking moving.
So my tiny mushroom dose had nothing but positive and good vibes. Did your LSD dose do that? Did anyone ever kind of wish they could get off this train?
One person seemed uncomfortable, but almost like they were feigning discomfort to be funny, which is probably why I was being so mean to them.
Because you saw through the ruse.
I guess it's like, stop acting like you're the only one here doing something for the first time. We're all trying something new, and you're ruining it for everyone. You little fuck.
You piece of shit.
But I just felt like he was being like white girl with her first wine spritzer high, and it was annoying. But that was probably just me being an asshole. And like maybe that was appropriate, maybe it wasn't. But fuck him for ruining my high. But yeah, it was a good time. I like LSD. I like watching like.
Would you do it by yourself?
Oh yeah. Like there's no fear. There's no like, oh, I could do LSD and make a silly phone call or walk outside naked. No more than you could do either of those things when you had 3 beers. Like,
see, I wouldn't do mushrooms by myself. Now, probably people would disagree with me and do, but enhancing the good vibes of the people I was with was kind of what it did for me.
Oh, ideally I'm with people. Ideally I'm with a girl and we're having sex, because I think sex on LSD would be the tops. But I would do it alone, I guess is what I'm saying. But I would prefer to be with friends or even family or anybody that you like, that you can hang out and chat with and shoot the shit and joke around and just generally laugh about how the desk over there moved a little. Did you see it? I saw it. Look at it. I'm going to look away. You look at it. You tell me if it moves.
Maybe it's my looking at it that caused it to move.
Yeah. Exactly. Like I've heard of this. This has something to do with quantum entanglement.
This is Schrodinger's table. Yeah.
This is a Jedi thing.